Hello and welcome to Free Cheese episode 317. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Today we got a big, fun episode. It's time to talk about a new Castlevania, writing letters to strangers, and we received an email about a particular genre of video games that you do not want to miss the conversation about. But first, let's talk about waking up to a text message like the one I received this morning. Ready?
All right.
911, 911, 911.
This is one of those Katie texts. Okay.
There is, all caps, definitely a brown recluse spider in my clear drawer in the back basement, third drawer down on the left.
Why the fuck am I here right now?
It cannot live here. Please get rid of it or we will all die. Crying emoji, please, it's so big. I don't know if you know what a brown recluse looks like, Matthew, but I will show you images on Bing of this guy here.
Yeah, I've seen them in my basement, and I've been stranded in my basement before, waiting for my dad to kill it. That's how much of a man I am. I waited for my father to come kill it. I would not walk. It was stuck on the stairs one time.
Yeah.
I walked by it just fine, and then on my way up, I saw it. Because it was on like the back part.
Yeah.
Would not go up the steps.
Just stayed there. Just froze.
Froze.
All right, so here's what I did.
There's plenty of liquids and food in the basement. I could have lived there for days waiting the spider out.
I got this vacuum cleaner over there, right? You can see the configuration. It's a little Dyson, and it's got a little handheld tool. Like, what do you call that tool on the end of it? Like a
handle?
A thin-mouthed hose? The one, you see the one?
Yeah. You're talking like, yeah.
Right. Not a hose per se. It's just a plastic piece. A crevice tool. It's a crevice tool.
Okay.
I popped the crevice tool on. I walked back. The spider had not moved since she had sent the text message. It was like 2 hours had gone by. I woke up, look at my phone, see that. All I see, before I put my glasses on is 911, die, spider, we, dead. So I get everything together, let the dogs out back, and I walk down. Spider right in the same spot. I grab that, and I just vacuum. The drawer had been it was opened a little bit. So you could very easily slip the nozzle down, pull the trigger, and I carried it over and just right to the toilet, flush. As I'm doing all this, right? I'm suck, open, flush. In my head runs the thought, what would Matt do? And I'm curious. You wake up, you get that text message. It's just you're in your house. You get, where do you go?
I'd leave.
I say this knowing that your girlfriend listens to the podcast
I'd take my Switch. I would hope it would have a full charge because sometimes that's debatable nowadays. Go to the local Starbucks and probably play something. Maybe they'll finally get me to play Fire Emblem while I wait out to see if Victoria kills it. Oh,
you're going to send her in after it. All right.
I've killed a couple bugs for her before, but like nothing that...
This was a big fucker, too.
Big, I'm staying away from.
I'm not fucking around, like, not just to give you the heebies, but literally, like, its legs would have been about the size of the top of that can.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. It was a big legs,
so
big wide
this
legs.
is something you need to do. So when it was happening in our house, we saw a couple of them. And
don't say that.
Okay, I was petrified of going downstairs. Like,
oh, yeah.
I did not. I never like the beer stash is downstairs, and I almost
went sober.
Almost went sober for like 3 weeks. So my dad one day, I think he was just going to the cellar of our base, like the outside cellar, to just get something out of there, and he saw a bunch of them in there. So you may want to walk out to your cellar and make sure they're not like
harvesting.
Yeah. And after he kind of like took care of a bunch of them there, because I think he just sprayed some spray down there.
Yeah, I'll get some.
Took care of. I haven't seen.
Cool. Yeah.
Penny.
Oh jeez. Yeah, I got a good spray for all that stuff. I do the spray when I see a problem. When I start to see the ants showing up, I'm like, time to hit them, and they're gone for like a year. We're good. But yeah. No, I Bill Hadered. I'd say that.
You all weren't wrong about that line.
Yeah. So that was my morning. Not as but that thought crossed my head. I was like, man, Matt would be fucking dead. I was like,
I would move out, sell the house, put it on the market.
I'm not gonna say that I'm like, woohoo, spiders. Like I see it, I'm like, ooh, you fucker. But
it looked like it was like ready to just like jump at any time, right?
Well, that's what she said, because she was like, oh, I didn't even think about the vacuum. And I was like, yeah. I was like, what was running? She was like, I don't know. She's like, I thought that you would, but then it's going to jump at you. It's going to leap and bite your face. I'm like, well, they don't do that. It's not how it fucking works. Spiders don't.
I mean, she's fresh off chapter 2 as well. I mean, that thing tried to
it's very true.
Eat some faces.
Oh, my gosh. Last week, we brought up the question of the week. Which game this year is one you can't sleep on was the idea, I believe. Basically, as we get closer to recording Game of the Year podcast, we want to know what are the things that we should be playing. You can let us know, of course, at podcast at thefreecheese.com, but there's one that I forgot to mention entirely, which was Konami Pixel Puzzle, which I know you're laughing. Konami Pixel Puzzle, who the fuck cares? Dude, play it almost every night before bed. It's complete anomaly for Konami. It is free. There are no in-app purchases. And I've been playing it since January, and I still, like, look, I'm 83% done. I just got through all the boss fights. But it's just, oh my God.
Yeah, this is...
It's good Picross.
Yeah, Picross.
It is good
I remember
Picross.
that coming out earlier in the year. I remember people talking about that. I never
out of
got
nowhere.
around to it, but no, that's good. Maybe I should start doing that, because, I'm casually over here playing a mobile game that I hate all the time, so...
It's been a good, just like jump in, do a puzzle, go to bed. Like I'll usually, like when I climb in bed, I will do one of those, and then I'll flip over and finish reading a comic book, and then before I know it, I can't keep my eyes open.
I'm glad you got a high percentage rate of a game done that you actually enjoy, and not one that, just put another pill next to the virus. That's cool.
You gotta get out. Maybe Mario Kart
I stopped
Tour.
playing. No, that's not gonna do it. Let's just face facts.
I know.
That was free, right?
Yeah. Konami?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dude, it's an anomaly. Like the only thing that you could say is anything is the fact that after you complete a puzzle, an ad pops up, but it's not one of those like obtrusive ads that like you can't get out of until you stop staring at it. Like,
or build a whole fort like in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, right. It's all ads for Konami games. So it's like, hey, did you know that Super Bomberman R is available on all platforms now? And you're like, yes, I did. Because one, I knew that, but two, you show me after I complete every puzzle.
3, you own it.
3, I own it on 2 platforms. So it's just a damn good game. If you're looking for a good Picross, that is good free Picross. Because that was the thing too, is there's not been a lot of good Picross clones on phones, which phone is the perfect place for that. But Jupiter has the market on Nintendo platforms, not anywhere else. So, well, Matt, it's been about 8 minutes since we hit record, so I think that might be about time where we talk about the video games we played in the last week. And I kind of want to start this segment off just to put to bed something here.
Put to bed?
Yeah.
Talking about Dota 2?
No, we put that to bed last week, remember? Yeah, pretty sure we did. No, I'm talking about Astral Chain. And... this will probably be the last time I talk about Astral Chain until we get to our end-of-year conversations and stuff like that.
Is this because you completed it?
It is not because I completed it. So last week when we recorded, I had started to feel this way, but I kind of wanted to go a little bit more and stay optimistic and stay positive about it. But honestly, I started to feel a little bit of fatigue going into the second week of that game, and now with a third week behind us, it didn't do it any favors. Every mission is the same thing. You start off, you go to the police station. Someone tells you that something terrible happened. You go to where something terrible happened. Obviously, the terrible thing's already gone, but now you have to wander around, talk to people in the street, be a cop, find out what happened. And every once in a while, someone pops up. There's a text that'll be highlighted in red. So it'll just be blah, 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 orange jacket, blah, 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 creepy guy. And those are all highlighted in red. Then at the end, somebody gives you a quiz that says... hey, we heard about someone lurking around. Do you know what he might be wearing? And you have to go through the list like, orange jacket. Mm-hmm. And you do that for, 20 different civilians. And when I first did it, I was like, this is a really novel approach. This is cool. I like this. This is a neat detective. It was cool. And then you do it. 10 missions I think I've done now.
Sounds like it has that at Assassin's Creed 1.
Mm-hmm. It just And then
And it's the same formula.
the creepy things that are happening is these chimera coming from the other world, right? So they come in, they fuck some shit up, they steal somebody, they take them, they kidnap them, and you go there and whatever. The only departure from that was in like the 6th mission or 5th mission where you get to go to the slums, like where it's not really Tokyo 3 as you're used to being in. You're in this like, it reminds me almost of, it's got a really specific vibe to it that reminded me of like Nier. I mean, it reminded me of Nier, oddly enough, because I mean, same people.
Yeah,
but
Platinum, yep.
But it reminded me of not really of like the Final Fantasy VII early stuff, like, but along those lines. It reminded me of the Narrows in Batman Begins when like Bruce goes to that, right? Like,
all right.
It's just like. All the buildings seem to be like falling on each other and connected by like loose metal. It was just a shift in the whole, like, I don't know, the way the game was playing, the aesthetic. Yeah, it changed it up rather than being like police station, city, bad things.
Did
then
change
go
like the color palette at all or anything like that, or just
most of the missions. No, it's the same thing. And then the part where it changes is where you go into the other world. And that is always identical. It's just the map layout is different, but it's always visually the same. At least with the city, you kind of get a little bit of, there's different landscapes, there's different like cityscapes, but primarily you're just doing this.
Did he change like the enemy types at all? Mission structure, or was it just like just a different locale?
Mission structure is always going to be like get to the red world, find the big bad red thing. After some puzzle solving, like, and some of the puzzle solving's different, right? Like some of it, by different, I mean, some of it requires you to use a Legion to pick something up versus break something open, right? Like it's always use your Legion to get through this.
Which HM do you need?
Yeah, to get through this puzzle. Yeah, and literally, because one of them is cut, one of them is strength, like you're not far off. You get to the end, and even when the enemy types vary, you're still taking them on in the same way. You're still using your Legion to wrap around them, whether that's manually or you have like I've unlocked an auto bind where you just pull your Legion out, hit Y, and it spins around really quickly. But it's and it doesn't feel as varied as Bayonetta. Like where Bayonetta, you're doing all these combos, and depending on what you do in order
and
you're
using your hair and your vampire.
Yeah, you're turning all right, and you got pistols in your shoes. But Bayonetta, you're doing like the kick, punch, and depending on where you pause or hold those things, you do different combos of things, and it feels like you have a lot more variety of the combat than you do here, where you probably do have a lot here, and I'm probably missing something, but it just feels super repetitive. So and like, even if something's repetitive, like the combat in Nier was not anything to like, sing its praises on, but the story was the part that kept you going. The story here is not compelling enough to make me want to be like, well, I gotta see what happens, because I kind of already know what. Like the story is super trite. It's just like,
yeah, like that was the thing that got me through the first Assassin's Creed. Right, every time you got back from, going into the Animus, when you came back, something was more fucked up around you, and you were kind of uncovering like, Desmond's story before it became like a fucking meme and everyone hated it. Right. And I remember that was something that kept me going, even like at the peak where you had to do like 3 assassinations before you saw the next step. And I was like, oh, god damn, all right. But I mean, nothing's kind of
you gotta have something. Yeah, this doesn't have. Like I will probably chip away at the final chapters over the next few months. Like just but like that sitting down marathoning for hours at a time, just.
I mean, that's what I ended up doing Nier, right? I mean, I've said it before. I did not like run B in that game at all.
Yeah, no.
It felt very samey. It didn't stray away enough from 2B's run. But I mean, I fell off it. I kind of was like, itching for Nier again. It also was Game of the Year time, so I needed to play it. And then I got through it and ended up. Which
maybe these final 2 or 3 chapters are varied enough where there's something wild that I'm missing, but it feels like a slog to get there.
Yeah, I understand that.
Last thing I'll say about Astral Chain. Please just give your characters a voice. Like, just for fuck's sake, I'm so tired of this.
What? You're not playing this on PS2? Grand Theft Auto 3 style?
Like, Fire Emblem was already aggravating, and now to have it again with Astral Chain, I'm just like, man, all these fucking games just keep doing it.
Man,
Like,
when Reggie leaves, there's no voice at all.
It's true. Like, it makes sense for Link to an extent, right? Just
Even that we can move on from.
dude, if Link came out talking next game, I'd be like, you know what? Yep, I'm good. Like, the silent protagonist thing is just, I don't know. I'm over it. I'm way over it.
Even if Mario started talking, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Just
He
be
kinda-
like, hey, Luigi, I had to go to this fucking hotel and clean some
Well,
toilets.
apparently you've never seen the Super Mario Variety Hour cartoon, or whatever the fuck it was called, where he has a full-ass voice. So yeah, Astral Chain kind of fell short for me, which is unfortunate, but
How many hours did you get into it before?
20.
I mean, that's still a lot for...
Yeah, no.
I don't think that's anything against you. I think that's... the game might be a little too long.
Dude, yeah, they had, because a couple of these chapters, it was, I don't feel like anything really progressed with the story. Like, they could have cut out a couple of those things and gotten you to the point where I got to last a little bit quicker, and then we could have moved on. But, anyway, that's that. I did play the Daemon X Machina demo, because I thought that would be my next one. Mm-hmm. That was one where, when I was lining up the summer with all those vouchers and everything, I was like, ooh, I'm going to get one set of vouchers for this, and I'm going to do the other one for this. And I ended up only getting the one set of it. So I got Mario Maker and Fire Emblem. But Daemon X Machina, they had a new demo this last week that dropped like right after the Direct, or the day after or something. And you can play it now. It's the first 5 missions of the game, and all of your progress carries right into the full game if you buy it.
That's always nice.
So I was like, oh, cool. All right, I'm in. And I did the character creator, rode around on my mech, did a couple of the missions. It does feel a little bit better from what I remember the first, because they had that first demo earlier this year or late last year or something.
I remember you and Mark saying it was a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, they definitely cleaned it up. You can see the improvements from that first demo. The main game, it's a mech game, so it's Armored Core style stuff. You load into a hub world, you go to a computer, you choose a mission from the computer, and then you're in the field doing it. And it's all flying mech stuff, so you are airborne. You kind of move your reticle loosely in the area of something, and it'll auto-target. You pull the trigger, and boom. You're slowly getting upgrades for your arms and shoulders, and maybe your legs. Maybe not your legs. But you're changing your weapons, so you might have different loadouts depending on a mission or depending on your preference or whatever. Not bad.
It's good.
Character customization, I give it like a 3.5 star out of 5.
Okay.
It's pretty damn good. Something's missing about it, but I don't really know what's missing.
We'll ask Mark next week.
Probably, yeah. But it's good. If you're looking for a mech game, I think it is a really damn good one of those. And if you're on the fence, I think this demo does a good job of showing you what the game is. For me, it was a little hard to want to spend $60 on it.
I was just about to ask, this is a $60 game, right?
Yeah.
That's a little tough.
But it runs really, really,
That's
really
good.
well on Switch.
Is this like a hard game? Like, I think like when I think of Armored Core, I think of From, and I think of
Yeah.
You're ready for ass beating. No,
I felt like I had more trouble the first demo than I did this one. This one I felt pretty comfortable, but that certainly I'm sure ramps up.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing about this is this demo you could play locally with people who have the demo downloaded, but the full game you can play online or locally co-op for any of the missions. Super anime, like anime heads talking the entire time you're playing. It's really good in that regard. I think it'll definitely grab some people that are looking for that. I just don't know if I want it right now.
I'm trying to think of the market right now. I don't think there's a lot of that right now.
No, this definitely is filling that gap.
And then the Metal Wolf Chaos, I feel like
that goes a little bit more on the arcade side of things. Like it's more.
But also, it's like not even around right now.
You can get it. It's out.
Oh
Metal
wait,
Wolf
that remake of it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, I totally missed that. My bad.
It came out. I forget when.
My bad.
But because I remember they announced it, and Mark was mad that they didn't put it out on the 4th of July. But it came out something or other.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm wrong. That's not the first time this happened on this show. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of mech games.
No, there's
out
not.
there.
And this is, if you need one, this is one for sure. Like from the demo, I can recommend the game if you're looking for that. But try the demo out, see if it's
And the mechs
for
are
you.
good to control. They feel good.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with a mech game. Sometimes you just feel so slow and it's not fun to control. I
Yeah,
feel like
no,
Titanfall was one of the first games that kind of
did that. Yeah, this
got it right for me, in my opinion, at least. But
Titanfall might still feel better, but this feels good. Like flight feels good, movement feels good, shooting feels rewarding. The one thing I kind of wish it did, which maybe it does, and I just didn't get to it yet. Do you remember in Nier where you get to do like a mech thing, but you can also turn it into like a jet for a moment?
Yeah,
I want that. Like I want that combat in everything, where you kind of just jet to fly forward and then pull back and be a dude in a mech. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
That was the time I spent with my Switch this week. Did you fire up your Switch at all?
Not yet. Stay tuned in the coming weeks for that, because I'm gonna need to fire up something on there, whether it's Zelda or Fire Emblem or something, right? No, I instead booted up my Xbox.
I've heard of that.
Yes, little free weekend for Madden 20. Now, I've been itching for a Madden, weirdly enough. I don't know why.
Because
they're all garbage.
It happens.
Whatever. I got that out of my system. I played a couple games, and I immediately was reminded that this is just another Madden game, and I don't need it. I will say, one, I think I was right about the Ignite engine last week, because we're using Frostbite now.
Okay.
And I think some of their problems stem from just knowing the developer kind of feedback based off Frostbite. I think a lot of the problems come from that engine. So, I don't know. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. It's something that just has not felt right with the Madden game recently, and I don't know what it is, and it could be that.
Probably the engine.
But they did introduce a new mode, and if you've been watching football this past week, because last week was week 1, they kind of demonstrated it in their commercial. There's this new knockout mode. It's a new online mode where you get like you get to draft like 3 players. You get to draft 3 players from a pool of 3, and it's like you pick like an offensive, then a defensive, then another offensive, and the positions can be mixed or the same. It kind of depends. And then you build like a base team around you, just auto generate it. With like not over the top overalls, but like 80s, mid 80s, whatever. Yeah. You take that team online against another team, and if you win, you keep going, and you pool one of their 3 players. So then you get like a 4th kind of like high overall player, and then you'll go to the next team that has like 4 players.
That's like playing a card game.
Yeah, and it's called knockout mode.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, and then you just kind of keep doing that. I don't know. I didn't get to the end. I've only the most I won in that round in that mode was 2.
Yeah,
but
that's like the
I thought that was really cool.
The magic. I did a bunch of that in Arena, where you kind of put a couple bucks in.
Yeah.
You get what you get, and you see how far you can go. I like that a lot.
And I like the idea of like stealing a card.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Good.
Like they just have to start over.
It's like playing Pogs.
Yeah.
But for football.
So it was cool. Like I drafted a quarterback and a receiver, knowing I was probably gonna be pass heavy, and then this is the brilliant thing about this. This is how they shoehorn in the celebrities. You pick the playbooks are probably 20% of an actual size playbook in Madden. So like when you go through Madden, you got like your single back, I formation, and you got like 4 different types of each one, like trips wide, 4 wide, like whatever. And here, I feel like there was only like 15 plays to choose from, which they kind of streamline it a little bit. I kind of understand that, but they focus your plays based off what coach you pick. So you can do like, blitz heavy, or like an air raid offense, or a run heavy, or something like that. But like your coach could be like DJ Khaled, or there's another celebrity in there and I can't remember. but equally as bad. And then based on what coach you picked, that's your team name. So, of course, my name was like the Keys because I picked DJ Khaled because I wanted the blitz-heavy defense. You can't fucking switch.
I don't know if I'm more mad that that is a thing or that I know what key means because my brother explained it to me one time.
So, yeah, I won the 2 games I won. I see DJ Khaled fucking jumping up and down my sideline celebrating with me.
It's CG DJ?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, great.
So that kind of brings that down back to earth a little bit, but no, you kind of ignored that part.
Not bad.
If you just give me like a regular.
They've never had that kind of level of celebrity integration in those games, have they?
I can't speak the last year's too much, but I don't think so.
The year before, like I
don't remember it being too much in 18.
I feel like I played Madden from like 99 through 2006 or 7. Almost every year, give or take, you know?
They didn't have it then. I mean, I remember I bought Madden religiously up until 05. 05 was when Ray Lewis was on the cover. Yeah. And with the hit stick. And that was the...
Was he the first one that broke the curse? The Madden curse?
I want to say he still got hurt for a couple games that year. Yeah. It's been a thing, although Antonio Brown... Is he this year's? I don't remember. It doesn't. I don't fucking care. But yeah, Madden's still Madden. Yeah, but I like that mode a lot.
That's a cool idea for a mode. That's is that new this year? Or they added it last year.
I believe they're touting as new. I don't think I missed it last year. Yeah. So
that's cool.
I would love something like that in hockey. Just saying.
I mean, maybe.
Just saying. If I get to create my first line and my defensive pairing, and then I can add into my second lines.
Now, let me ask you this, just for the sake of argument, not sake of argument, but I'm just curious. This has nothing to do with their microtransaction stuff, right? Like, you couldn't buy something to give you a leg up on the random pool?
Don't think so, because I pretty much got the full game because of the free weekend. And I did not really see anything unless it was hiding from me.
Because there's that stuff to do with, like, Ultimate Team or whatever.
Yeah, Ultimate Team, but this seemed like a different entity. Cool. I think if you completed it, you got rewards that fed back into Ultimate Team, but...
That's cool.
I like that mode a lot. That was, like, a neat idea, and I hope there are other franchises start to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd like to see other... Just...
Like, let me pick like a forward, a defenseman, and a goalie, and then let me try to pick off other players and keep going in a tournament like that in NHL. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a cool mode for a lot of different genres of games. Like, you could do that for, like, classes in a shooter, or...
Yeah.
I don't know what else, but yeah, that...
Like no one has EA, they picked it from somewhere, but...
Yeah. It's a system they started working on for a skate game or something.
Yeah.
And they canceled it because Skate's never coming, and just fuck me. Oh, shit, actually, that's this week.
Oh, your,
Session.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I gotta spend money.
Moving on from that, though, I don't know if you want to jump into it now, but we've been playing a little Overwatch.
Hey, are we pros yet?
No. All right. We're not level 25. Once we hit level 25, that's when we're pros.
But we're basically there, right? I'm not crazy.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about my support classes.
I'm feeling real good about playing as Pharah lately.
That's good.
Like I did this morning just for, like, palette cleanser. I jumped in and I was doing the stupid mode where it just throws a different hero at you every time you die, and I just kept getting wiped over and over again, and then it threw me in as Pharah, and I fucking went on a 10-player kill streak. And I was like, all right, here you go.
Yeah,
like,
it feels good.
I feel like I'm consistently dying less when I play as Pharah. Like, I know I've got a good... Like, with Sombra for a while, I got a really good strategy of just, like, go invisible, lay down the teleport thing on a health thing, move in, find the healer, hack the healer, shoot the healer, hopefully I kill him. If I don't, hit E, teleport back, get health, and just rinse and repeat. And with Sombra now, or Pharah, now I've got like get myself a little bit in the air with my right click, shift to launch up, and just barrage with rockets until I get my ult. Try and team wipe, which I'm getting pretty good at. Like, oh my god, it feels good.
Yeah, no, we just kind of randomly jumped into it. I think I don't know if you had been playing it or not.
I think I jumped in after the rumors of the Switch stuff started popping up. Like, after that case happened, I was like, I could fuck with some Overwatch, because I've had it installed on my PC since I set all that shit up, and I was like,
So yeah, I mean, I just been jumping in. My main mission right now is just get to level 25. I want to play some rank stuff. I want to see what that's like. I mean, it's more of the same, but the games mean a little bit more. Besides hoping to get enough experience for a loot box.
Yeah, no, I because right now I'm just chasing the loot boxes and they're all fucking terrible. But I'm not gonna buy it.
I got a couple. I realized I had a few credits. I had a couple hundred credits.
So that's the cool thing about Overwatch lately that we were discovering is that kind of they're forcing the
pick a role.
Yeah. 2v2 or 2-2-2, 2 damage, 2 tank, 2 healer, or support.
Yeah.
On in every match, and when you play a class, so are you always that little thing that pops up that says like, "Hey, you get a bonus loot box if you play as this"? Is yours always support?
I feel like it is, but I think that's just by chance.
I feel like it's because I'm always getting damage, which I primarily play DPS role.
Okay. All right.
So I feel like it knows what you play well, and it's rewarding you for sticking to that class. So you get it seems like a daily loot box for playing that class. And then every time you remain playing as that class, you're getting 25 credits a round.
Yeah, 25, yep.
Which 25 credits, it seems like nothing, but it adds up quickly to the point where you're buying skins for yourself, and it's keeping me coming back to the game where
yeah,
I'm like...
I mean... Like your basic outfit, the different like the palette swaps are like 75 credits, so that's like an hour gameplay right there. And then
done.
Like the next tier is 250, and I bought a couple 250s yesterday.
Same,
I got
yeah,
myself like a cool like dark Zenyatta skin, got a different Mercy skin.
Yeah, I got that cool Anubis skin for Farah. She got the fucking Anubis helmet.
I think I got a tanks too. I don't know. I realized when I was picking costumes, I was like, man, I really don't play a lot of characters.
No, I thought I was like pretty well versed in a lot of it, and I looked at my profile and it shows like the hour breakdown because I was like, man, I've been playing a lot of Farah, and like Diva's still my most played character, and it's still only by like I've only put 4 hours into Diva or something. Like I haven't played a lot in the grand scheme of it all for a game that's 3 years old, but man, it's.
But yeah, I've been hopping into that. I've been finding my own. I feel kind of comfortable with like 2/3 of that support cast now. I've been playing a lot of Baptiste with you. Mercy kind of pairs pretty nicely with Farah because whenever I'm in trouble, I can look up in the sky at you, hit shift, and float out of there.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be up there. So it's
so that's always nice. I've been playing a lot of backline with Anna as well, trying to get better with her sleep dart.
See, I'm terrible with snipers, so that the sleep dart, that's cool.
And then Zenyatta has always kind of been one of my main supports. So, yeah, between those four.
I mean, I was like falling back on Diva for a real long while. Whenever like we'd get into a thing and it'd be like, hey, only one tank. I'd be like, all right, I'll go Diva. But
it's nice to have to worry about that.
Yeah. You just queue up beforehand, kind of know where you're going to fall.
You have two supports, and then now, like, when it's support, like, I try to do the Dota approach with, like, a hard support and a soft support. So if someone's playing Mercy, I feel better about me playing Zenyatta and using my Orb of Discord and focusing on that. But when someone is, like, or when someone is Zenyatta, like, I feel like, all right, maybe I should play as, like, Anna, but maybe not focus on the offensive part. Maybe just stay back, heal, and then push up with the team when it comes time.
Yeah, I wish that DC Universe Online would kind of integrate some sort of forced role stuff. Because the new Metal expansion dropped this week.
Okay.
Based on the comic book. And I was trying to do one of the 8-player instances. And I did it twice where the fucking people playing voted to disband the group and leave the whole thing. Because of us just getting wiped over and over again. Because we had no healer. So you're doing this like fight with these really intense ads popping in, and they're just fucking us up, and everyone's running damage. So I switched to control because, like, my class of character, I've got Green Lantern powers. With Green Lantern powers, you can only be damage or control. Which, are you familiar with control at all? Because that was something new to me with DCU.
I'm familiar with the game, but not the.
As a controller in DC Universe, you are a DPS role, but you have the added responsibility of kind of debuffing the enemy. So you're kind of like, for example,
you're a support, but like the offensive support.
If I were pure DPS Green Lantern, then all of my light constructs are going to be machine guns and chainsaws and physical attacks. Where as a controller, a lot of my attacks are going to be like bubbles to put my enemies in to trap them for a minute, right? Like those types of things. I've got one attack that turns them into a baseball, and then I use a bat to hit them away. Like, it's cool.
Green Lantern.
Yeah. So DC Metal is based on Dark Knight's Metal. You ready for Joe's comic book lore
Here we go.
minute? So this is Scott Snyder, who you're becoming familiar with.
I'm a fan now.
Yes, Scott Snyder did some.
I'm 4
cool
issues,
stuff.
but maybe 5. But I'm a fan.
Well, actually, it's the same creative team too. So it's Scott Snyder and the artist Greg Capullo.
Great.
The story is basically, it's been a while since I read it, but there's this dark multiverse that mirrors our own multiverse, and of course, we have 52 Earths.
I love comic books.
Oh,
The fact that you just said multiverse that mirrors a multiverse, I'm all in.
We have because we have our multiverse, right? Where
course.
there's 52 versions of our Earth. Well, surprise, there's a dark multiverse, the inverse of our multiverse, where it's all of that, but the bad side of things. So it's all fucked up versions of everything here. So there's been stories in regular ass DC comics that are like, hey, what if Batman got a Green Lantern ring? Or what if Batman had Superman powers? Like, what if little Bruce Wayne was actually from Krypton? They've done little things like that. DC Metal takes that a little bit further and says, well, what if Batman were the embodiment of evil and also had a Batman for every member of the Justice League? So you have a Green Lantern Batman, you have a Flash Batman. Like,
Okay.
And the way that they did it all was like the Green Lantern Batman, for example, in the story was created because his parents got shot in the alley, Bruce Wayne, and the ring chose him right there in the alley. So he still grows up to become Batman, but he also has a Green Lantern ring. But he's also from the dark multiverse, which is evil and fucked up and whatever. The Flash one decides that he's Batman, but he wants to have the power of the Speed Force, so he straps the Flash to the hood of the Batmobile and drives into the Speed Force so that he becomes one with the Speed Force, kills that Flash, and becomes Red Death. The Flash Batman of the dark multiverse. So it was a whole story. It was a weird thing with metal and blah, 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 blah. They brought that into DC Universe. And the first chapter of it is you taking on that Flash, Red Death. So you go to Central City, and they did a cool thing with this, because a lot of what I've been playing, I think, is the early parts of that game, and it's all pretty much the same, like whatever. It's very dynamic, like each of the locations seem different. They very well realize the inside of different buildings and make it feel like you're in the world of Gotham or Metropolis or the buildings that are there within. So this time you go to Central City and you don't really know what's going on, just something's fucked up, and Oracle's kind of in your ear saying, hey, something seems weird. There's all these shootouts happening, there's people getting mugged, there's these crooks hiding and trying to steal shit. So you kind of run around and just kind of clean up some of those instances. And after you do, there's like this rupture that you kind of feel or detect. So you go to the Flash Museum, start working your way through the Flash Museum until you realize that Barry is on the cosmic treadmill that lets him kind of run through time, and he can't get off. And it turns out that Red Death has come to our universe and it wants to kill our version of the Flash because he wants to be the only one that exists or something. But just the way that they kind of had you do things there was a little bit of puzzle solving, like to try and figure out how to combine different elements to open a door. Like it was just a little more clever than what I've seen so far. And then you fight Red Death in the end, and you're constantly getting this cool Dark Knight's Metal Gear, which the one thing you're probably going to start seeing a whole lot of, you and you listener out there, is the Batman Who Laughs. So that was like, what if the Batman was the Joker, but also he looked real fucked up. He's got like a spiked collar where his eyes should be, and then it's Batman, but he's real skinny and just has the Joker's mouth hanging out. So a lot of the gear you're getting in all this DC Metal stuff is
All right.
Batman Who Laughs. I like DC Universe Online, but I'll tell you, it's just right clicking. Now that I'm kind of understanding more of the roles and my responsibilities in each of those roles, I do feel a little more, like I looked up a good build for DPS and for control, and I built, because you can toggle between as long as you're not in combat, so I built a good loadout for light powers for each of those, and I feel good, like, okay, got it. So now I should boost myself and then try and trap them with whatever. And I'm getting the hang of it a little bit.
There's
but
a lot there, and also you're coming into this game
8 years later.
Eight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, because it's like, what the fuck do you do in an MMO 8 years in? I'm still like trying to figure that out. But
I don't know. You can just go back to year 1, like some of them did. WoW Classic.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good with that. But that's I sort of jumped back in there this week with DCU because I kind of felt compelled to play it again, and then I found myself spending the $15 on the monthly sub, which I don't need to do. I just did it, and then Metal dropped, and now I'm learning how to be a controller. So.
Well, that's good. Well, speaking of things that I am not coming back to anytime soon, but because I got really nothing left to do besides some side missions, is a game called Control.
Well, that's until the DLC. Stay
Correct.
tuned for the news.
Correct.
Yeah, you beat Control.
So I beat the main missions of Control. I still got some side stuff. If I really want to do, I'll go back, but I think I'm gonna move on here. I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't said Dota yet, and that's because I did not play Dota. So I've been actually playing some other things here.
We did it
to create some content for myself at the Free Cheese Podcast. I'm not just a fucking lump on a log.
Does it feel good to be out? Like, you miss it at all, or you feel?
I did play a couple games of Underlord, so that's still hanging around.
I'm sorry.
That game's still fucking going through weird changes every week. So
I saw something. I don't think I still follow the Artifact subreddit, so I see people bitching about Underlords in the Artifact subreddit.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of good memes and yeah. But I mean,
you beat Control.
It's September. And I gotta play some shit.
Yeah, it's getting there, man. I almost bought Control this morning, so tell me if I still should.
Yeah, so Control, I actually went back and listened to what I said about Quantum Break, probably about a year ago this time. And it's kind of funny. I have the opposite feelings of what I was talking about with Quantum Break, where...
What did you say about... I don't remember.
Quantum Break, it felt heavy, the gameplay-wise, and... James Joyce, the main character in that game, kind of felt like sluggish. The play in that game wasn't its highlight. It was fine, like it was fun to play still, but it wasn't the highlight. It was the powers you could use and the story and the TV series that kind of kept me going through that game, and just the weird plot line of, you know, what if time was about to end and everything around it was about to end.
Yeah.
So, Control was another thing. So, very early on, I said this a couple weeks ago, like, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm trying to collect every piece of intel. But as my power started to grow and I became, like, this fucking superhuman, I enjoyed just beating the shit out of people. Just, like, pulling a chunk of wall out and throwing it at someone, creating a shield around me, absorbing damage, and then just dealing all the damage kind of back.
Oh, nice! Like a little.
I don't think I absorb like the bullets per se, but like my shield that I pull from the wall, I can like throw at someone after the fact.
That's cool.
There's just a lot of cool powers, and I liked the gunplay in this game, and I just enjoy playing it. It's just the only thing is the story kind of fell short for me.
Oh, really?
At the end, it does a weird thing. I don't want to get into it too much, but the pacing, it feels like something's about to happen, and then the game just kind of ends. It's weird.
So I don't want to get into it because there is when we talk about the news later about the DLC stuff, I'm gonna tiptoe around some stuff because I don't want to spoil anything. But I've seen some things popping up lately that seem to. How do I say this without? Does it seem like they kind of curtailed it so they could build towards a bigger story later?
Yes.
Do you see what I'm following?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the game does a great job of like revealing its layers and ramping up, and then it feels like it hits this ramp, and then as soon as you're about to like hit the I don't know, like maybe the climax does happen, and it didn't feel. It felt like I was just short of the climax, and then it seemed to end, and the resolution wasn't like a good one either. It wasn't like everything's settled.
There's still more to uncover.
Yeah, and then unlike I can't speak for Alan Wake, get there in a moment, but Quantum Break, once the game was done, it was done. Control, you can keep running around the FBC. And it embraces the end game a little bit. So,
because it's kind of open world, right? Like
it
it's
is. Yeah, it's open world. There's like these bureau countermeasures, which is pretty much the equivalent, like kill 100 hive or not hive, hiss. Sorry, same thing.
Yeah, what's the difference? Yeah.
And there's still some side missions I like to do. There are a couple of really cool side missions. One involving a mirror. If you know what I'm talking about, I think that's probably my favorite side mission of what I played so far. But yeah, it goes into this really cool sequence involving this thing called the Astral Maze. You get there and you can't complete it, and then you have to do some other things in order to complete, because the FBC is so fucked up. It's really cool, but there's like the character involved with getting you through the maze, like there's not, like it's left on a cliffhanger. I don't know if there's other side stuff I should do to see that through, or if it's just not there.
Does the side stuff seem like it's hard to find, like to seek out? Because you mentioned before, like you're reading through different reports and they're mentioning names, and then you're meeting those people later on. Like, are they hard to stumble upon? Do you really have to go out of your way? Like, is this like Riddler trophy level shit, or is it like?
I don't think it's that bad. Like, it's not like the depths of the Riddler trophy stuff.
But do you feel like you're seeing all of that stuff?
I feel like there's some things I missed, but I also know, like, I can see one room. I kind of forget how to get to it exactly, but I know there's a room that I could not get to because I did not have my levitate ability yet.
Okay.
I saw the opening. Now that I have my levitate ability, I never had to go back to it for the main missions. Okay. So I could wander back there and go into that room. And it might just be a collectible or two, maybe a Threshold Kids video. But
something.
I could get up there now. And there was one really cool room that could explain some DLC down the road that I'm very excited about. So excited about. I guess it's a segue.
Before you segue, I have one final question. Because, look, I spent a lot of this week figuring out what I wanted to play. This morning I woke up, I had the whole day ahead of me, and I like dicked around in some DC Universe. I dicked around with Overwatch for a minute. I don't know what to play.
I think this is a game worth playing.
Like, should I drop $60 on it tonight and just get started?
I think this game's worth $60.
All right.
I think the gameplay, it looks pretty if you have the correct things. I've seen the patch fix some things.
Well, yeah, now that it's out of early access for people with NVIDIA cards, I think I might grab it.
And then it's really fun to play. I liked it. I liked like the Bloodborne lore it was building. It's just the main story arc seemed to fizzle a little bit, but there's cool moments leading you up to the end. And even during the end, there's some really cool moments. It seems like it just kind of just ended.
I think I'm gonna do it tonight. Because I got nothing. I'm like drowning over here, and this is gonna be a little blasphemous, but I'm one, not buying Blasphemous, and two, probably not gonna buy Link's Awakening next week. Like I started thinking more about that game. I'm kind of glad Mark's not here to hear this. Although when he's listening to it, I can already. I know, but I played that game. You know what I mean? Like, I know I haven't, right? But I'm looking for something new right now, and it's.
You never played Quantum Break, right?
No.
So, it's new in a Remedy way. Like, I've
never played any Remedy game except for Max Payne 1, and I probably rented 2. And that was, 15 years ago?
I feel like Remedy, that engine they use, is really good with storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think it's something worth experiencing, especially if you have $60 and you're trying to figure out where to spend it. I think Control is well worth it in my opinion. There's some really cool ideas there.
Would you clock in at? Would you say?
Ooh, because it's on Epic, I can't fucking give you the easy answer.
God.
I want to say somewhere probably between 15 and 20. Like I said, I didn't go out like looking for every single detail.
Yeah,
I don't want to say my most of my skill tree was done. I would say the things I wanted done were done, and then I was kind of filling in some gaps. With that, I didn't have every single weapon, or at least upgrade it to its full capacity.
Yeah,
because as you upgrade weapons, I say you get the different expansion mod slots.
Okay.
And you do increase its power as well. But I didn't have all of those, but I had a healthy amount.
All right.
And I never felt like too challenged. I never felt like it was like, oh man, I should go grind out a floor.
Yeah.
I never felt like that. The ending, like the last ending fight sequence, there's some bad checkpoints. It reminds me of Wolfenstein, Youngblood with some bad checkpoints.
They're patching some of that stuff, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay.
But I have Reset Era. If you read that official thread, people are pissed about the checkpoint system there. I did not struggle as much as others did, but I did die twice, and I was like, "Why am I all?"
I heard
the
something
way
about
back here
having to like rewatch a cutscene also, or something like an unskippable. Maybe it was a different game.
Oh no, that might have been a bit different game, or people don't have. No, never. That was something Control did really well. Like if you saw a cutscene, like you can walk back in the room and pretty much walk right back where you were. Like if the room had changed, which is something that's a thing in Control, if the room had changed, it's already changed again. You just kind of walk back into it.
I think it was different. I think I know what that was. No, but I did hear the Control thing about like having to walk back. That's what it was. Like that. Like oh shit, I died, and like you can't just start right there in the boss fight again. You've got to it checkpoints you back.
It does the Bioshock thing. It does the Bioshock. Like here are your VAT.
Yeah, okay.
And then you have to walk back into the battle, which I don't think they're that bad.
Yeah.
But I understand it. In a world of like Call of Duty where I died, I can pick up right where I was, like literally getting shot at. So
yeah.
But I think Control is worth it.
Yep.
I don't know if it's my game of the year, but it's definitely enjoyable, and I think it should be played by a lot of people.
All right. So much so that it led you to maybe...
So much so that I decided to stick with my what I said last week and said that Remedy is one of my favorite developers. I went back and played a game I haven't played of theirs.
Max Payne 2.
I never completed Max Payne 2. Oh. That was because of a memory card glitch. No, Alan Wake.
You never played Alan Wake
Never
before.
played Alan Wake.
And this is like a fucking TM trademark, capital TM.
I know.
So
I know.
Are we? Is TM going to start standing for Trade Matt, or what are we?
No, we're not. We're not that level.
I mean,
unless it's Dota or whatever. But no, Alan Wake is a really cool game. I've played through the first 2 chapters. I think like the chapters count the 6, and then there's 2 others that came later down the road. It's funny watching Control, and then you go back, and I can just see the DNA of everything from Quantum Break to Control. Like the first boss fight in Alan Wake is a boss fight in Control, but Control expands upon it just a little bit more. But like I see the gameplay elements of what they were going for. So Alan Wake is different than Control in a good way. But
because the combat's not like you're not shooting a gun, right?
You are, but you have it. You're dealing with like apparitions in the dark almost, and it's like a light versus dark kind of thing. So if you like
shine your flashlight and shoot them.
You have to shine your flashlight and you have to shine it enough. And there's like this little like circular reticule that closes in, and when it closes in completely, it like unlocks their darkness almost. And then that's when you can shoot them,
like magnifying glass on an ant.
Kinda,
you get that pinpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because Mark equated the like combat in Blair Witch a little bit to Alan Wake of just like having to shine until it's on the right spot.
From what you've said, that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah. And then like if depending on when you shine the flashlight, you can kind of stun them a little bit or whatever. Not many character models on the screen at one time, so you never feel that overwhelmed. But they do a lot of cool things with light in that game. Like I like. Ammo is not Resident Evil scarce, but it's scarce enough where you can't just be pumping bullets blindly. So, like, you could... their checkpoint system is, like, street lamps. And if you get to a street lamp, you can refill your health, and it's kind of like a quick save point that just does it automatically. But, like, you could run by some enemies, and if you get there and they chase you into it, they're just done.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of strategy there with the lights. But then they utilize lights in different ways. Like there's flare guns that is like kind of like a grenade launcher. Like, yeah. And it just, you can just throw regular flares and it's like grenades almost. That like back them away, but also stun and take away their darkness.
And what do the creatures look like? Just shadow people or?
They're like regular people, but you can just tell like they're consumed by some kind of thing. And that's what leads me, the storytelling in Alan Wake is incredible. I'm totally invested in Alan's story. Pretty much the setup is Alan Wake's a writer. It seems that you are struggling to write your next like grand novel. You and your wife kind of take a vacation to the main town it takes place at, and Mark's probably yelling at his radio or whatever, telling me the name of the town because I forgot it. But you go there and you kind of stay on this house island kind of thing. Well, it turns out your wife kind of negotiated you to kind of see like a psychiatrist almost, just to kind of like help you with your writing. You get into a fight, you leave, and then something happens to her. Oh, by the way, she's afraid of darkness, which all. Mm-hmm. So the lights in the house go out after you storm off, being mad. You come back, she's gone, and then you like jump into the water after her. She ends up in the water somehow. You jump in the water, and then flash, you're in a car. An accident's happened, and then after a few little gameplay things, you realize that a whole week has gone by, and you don't remember the week. And you're trying to figure out what's happened to your wife. You're trying to figure out what's happened in the week. Your publicist ends up flying into this island. He's like, "Cause where the fuck have you been? Like, I haven't been able to reach you." Yeah. So, like, you're partnering with him now to see what's going on.
So, are you picking up from that point forward, or are you working your way backwards?
No, you're picking up from that point forward, and like you're kind of reliving Alan. Like you're living through Alan. Like, what happened? Like, well, I'm trying to figure out like where's my wife? Where?
So you're kind of finding clues and piecing it all together.
And then you can tell there's some like dark entities going on. The way like it. The whole story is now on Alan. Like there are some cutaways, and you can kind of see there's some like demonic things happening. I really like that clever fucking light and gun system. It's really cool.
I never played that. I heard that. I remember people raving about it when it came out, and it just missed me.
Yeah,
I think because I didn't have a 360 back then. And
I never had an Xbox console to the one now, so
but it was primarily it came to PC, but I feel like it was 360 first, right?
I think so.
Something like that.
Because then like Remedy is like their Insomniac.
Right, yeah. They kind of mostly never did anything but for Xbox.
Yeah, I never played a Fatal Frame, but I feel like that's what they were going after. It was like the next evolution of the Fatal Frame. Like you, instead of sizing up a camera, you're sizing up your light and then kind of taking them out with your weapon.
Yeah.
And there's different enemy types too. Like there's bigger guys that take a little bit more light. There's your smaller guys, just like these little assassin guys that move quick, but like don't have as much health. You have to fucking shine the light at some bats every once in a while.
I'm
like
down with
flock
bats.
of like bats come down. Or a bird, like maybe crows.
Let's go with bats.
Sure. But yeah. Now Mark's probably yelling at me with all the things I'm getting wrong right now. But dude, that game's good. I am seeing that game through. I know it's not the current game of the year stuff that I've just been talking about.
No, but that's
dude, game's fucking good. Real excited to see that through. And see what happens.
To close us out.
I have one more thing.
What you got?
Because no one else at this table, Mark, you included, has ever responded to saying, "Hey, yes, let's play that Gears 5 campaign."
Oh yeah, sorry. It's just been.
It's all right. It's all right. I understand.
I installed it on my PC this morning.
Nights. Those are my Alan Wake nights.
Yeah, I put it on my PC this morning though, so I'd be ready to go.
I had been itching to see this game, so I decided to play some of the versus multiplayer.
Yeah.
And that is a Gears of War game. I don't know if you know.
Wow, interesting.
that feels like a super heavy, over the shoulder, kind of clunky to move around, cover to cover based shooter. Gears of War. And I don't think I say that in a bad way. It's just it's Gears of War the way I remember Gears of War being.
That sucks. I'm gonna uninstall it, I think.
No, I want to see the campaign.
Yeah?
We gotta at least see the campaign. It moves a little bit faster than... The good news is it's not all just fucking gray and brown.
Yeah, no, it looks really pretty.
The levels seem, at least the multiplayer levels seem to have a little bit of color and variety to them.
Yeah.
It looks really good on PC. Like,
all right.
Surprisingly good on PC.
Yeah, all right. I'm glad I put it there. I did the opening training thing, the boot camp, and I got almost to the end of it, and you had texted me and said Overwatch, and I said yep, and turned it off. So
and then I played a couple just casual games. Last night I jumped into a couple ranked games. I played like 2 King of the Hill matches, 2 team death matches, ranked. A lot of team coordination's involved, right? Because like you can, it's almost kind of, I mean, because it's cover to cover, you can kind of play like an XCOM game, but like not have to worry about the bullshit
Waiting
1%.
Right. Just worry about your 1%.
So like you can do some cool flanking maneuvers, but of course you have to be coordinated with your team, and you're not going to get that experience every night. But there's some potential to that game. I think the objective based, because of the way Gears moves with the cover and just it's clunky, but not like in a terrible way. It's just a Gears way, in my opinion.
I feel like the characters always have like junk hanging off of them or something. Like whenever I'm moving, I feel like they're animating all of their limbs independent of one another, and that everything's kind of trying to keep up with the other limb as it moves. Like it just feels like you're moving in a way that a person doesn't move.
The thing that bothers me is just the stiff sprint. And then the camera waddle.
Maybe it's the camera.
Because I can't, when you get out of the sprint, you can kind of see back over your shoulder more. You can see the environment around you. But when you sprint, you get that vision penalty, and you kind of can't see too far ahead of you. Which, I mean, is probably a balancing thing. But it's fine. But yeah, just because of the way the movement is, I think like the objective-based stuff works really well. In like a weird Gears way.
Are you doing mouse and keyboard?
Yes, I'm doing mouse and keyboard. Like this is probably one of the only games that I feel like calling out. Like I can kind of like tag an opponent, like mark them, like visually.
Right, yeah.
I feel like this is one of those games where it's like really important because some dude can just fucking hide behind cover
and no one will
and just flank you or whatever. Yeah. But if you see them, you can kind of tag them, and there's a visual cue that says, "Oh, like there's a dude there." Just keep in mind if you go to charge around. So there's a little element of strategy there.
I'm kind of more excited about Gears Tactics than I am about Gears 5. Like that XCOM style. I'm gonna give this a shot. I've got it installed on 2 platforms right now. So
here's the beautiful thing about this game. It's not even a gameplay mechanic. There are in the options or extras, 2 videos. One talking about the state of Gears of War, and it goes through Gears Judgment through 3 in the eyes of Marcus Phoenix.
Okay.
And then there is a previously on Gears that recaps in better detail Gears 4 to get you up to speed, ready to go.
So you don't have to play any of that
for the campaign. I'm sure there's a lot more lore that the state of Gears of War is leaving behind, but I feel like I got a really good gist of what happened in 4 because of those videos. So that makes me really excited because I don't have to play those other fucking 5 games to feel like I need to appreciate Gears 5.
All right.
So I'm in. I want to see this campaign, at least start it and see where it goes. And then I like to play a game or two of that versus multiplayer. I didn't play Horde or Escape.
Escape, right? Yeah, I didn't hear great things about that this week.
Okay. I'm curious to try. I'd rather do it with you all because it seems like more of a team-based thing.
I think it's a 3-player activity.
Escape is 3. I don't know. I think Horde might be 4.
Horde might be 4. Yeah, but I think Escape was designed for the 3 of us to play it, so we should.
I want to at least try that. But I'm curious about this campaign.
Yeah, fuck, I'll do it.
I mean, it's free. You got that Game Pass. Not like you're dropping $60 on that.
I know, that's the thing, man. I sat the other night in my consideration of what's next,
and I knew you'd be on the fence about this game because I was like, "Ooh, I can just say fuck it. I'll start and I'll talk about it on the podcast." But I know as soon as I start and get ahead of you, you're done. So I need to drag you along by the collar.
But I looked through Game Pass this week, and I was like,
I'm still in the middle of excited about Shenmue 1 and 2 being on there.
I uninstalled those.
I think I still haven't installed. Yeah. One day. 2023, when Shenmue 3 comes out, maybe.
Yeah, right. I did. So I spent $5 this morning on a game that I spent about, I'd say almost an hour and a half with. That hour and a half went kind of quick, too. Like, I didn't think I was in it for that long.
Nice.
But, Kind Words, Lo-Fi Beats to Write To is how it's all.
Oh, that parentheses all in there.
Technically, I think it's just called Kind Words.
Okay, all right.
But that is all like on the title screen is Kind Words, Lo-Fi Beats to Write To. So, veiled in anonymity, you ask questions to other people who are playing the game, and they give you answers. And you open people's questions and you give them answers, all in the effort of just spreading positivity. Like it's all a very much feel good kind of, we're all in this thing together, and it's not always easy to talk about shit that is going on with your life with people closest to you.
Okay.
So why not put it out there and let an imaginary deer dressed up like a mailman, deliver these letters.
Yeah.
Deliver these letters to people that you'll never meet or see or know or anything, right?
Okay.
So, people are like, hey, I have a friend who's really depressed and I don't know what to do to help them.
All right, that kind of stuff.
Hey, I just broke up with from a long time relationship and I don't know what to do. Or conversely, I had one that was like, hey, I just broke up with my first boyfriend. We were together for 6 months and he wanted to be with somebody else. And it's like clearly someone who's young, right? Like it's all over the place with people's kind of problems, or people who just can't get over whatever hump of whatever they're going through. And you have that power in that moment to just write them something that's just...
It's a lot of power.
It was like heavy. Like you feel like a responsibility for a moment. There were some where I was like, what I say could be like,
yeah,
you really got to consider, like, if I'm this person, like, who is this person? Like, was I ever there? Because most of the things you're reading, you feel like at times it could have been shit that you went through. Like, you didn't literally go through what they're going through, but
you could have just one decision away from being
a lot of the things that I ended up writing, because I think I spent almost 90 minutes with it. I probably wrote a good 20 responses, and more often than not, you kind of feel like you're writing a letter to yourself in the past, where you're like, oh, right, I went through this when I was blah, 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 blah. And it's like you kind of align with the feeling rather than the situation, but you kind of know like what it felt like to be whatever. So you kind of, I don't know, there's that ebb and flow. And like, I put one out there that like just generally, like,
there's a spider in my basement that I can't
don't know
kill,
what to do.
so...
But I put it out, and like the responses I got were like, really, okay, cool, thanks. Like,
so I should not be anywhere near
this. Is not a mat game at all. There's there is a report button for the mats of the world.
Okay, good.
Which is
I was
nice.
curious, what's keep it be from $5 and 10 Oktoberfest in the middle of the night?
Yeah. I mean, you could go do this if you. I mean, that's
that's all right.
No.
I should not be here.
No. This is. I mean, it's definitely a place for to help people feel better. I felt good playing it to be able to give people advice, and I felt good from the advice that I received. It just felt like, I don't know, like a nice little community of people. So you've got the options kind of on the sidebar. The whole game itself, because it is a game, is this. Isometric room
That's
cutout.
a loose term on Steam nowadays, by the way.
Right. So imagine a cube that you stripped off the roof and the front sides of it. You just have the two walls in the back, and you've got a little bed, and it's a little bedroom, and your character is just kind of sitting at a table writing letters. The options along the side are to read letters and then obviously respond to them. And you're literally like typing out what you're typing and then sending it. You can ask a question yourself, or you can send a paper airplane. So the paper airplanes are where the mats of the world might start showing up. But, the idea is that you just write something positive on a paper, like an inspirational quote or something that helps you. And then you hit send.
Or upload a JPEG of a dick and send it.
I think they were smart enough to know not to include picture support in this game. Because that also, like, they really encourage, like, don't post your Twitter account. Don't use your real name. Do not.
Oh, yeah, because that would go against the whole culture of what they're trying to.
They want it to be anonymous to that extent of whatever. I'm sure that they're tracking a little bit on the back end for the people who are being assholes, so they can shut down that stuff. But the paper airplanes are cool because as you're sitting there, and like the music is all really just like, you kind of get lost in it a little bit. It's very like.
Yeah, I keep hearing about. So is it like one of those like just like soothing music, or is it a little bit of like techno to it? Like, what's going on?
Like lo-fi stuff is like that stripped down techno that's really slow. Like,
okay,
there's still a beat to it, and there's some synth, and there's whatever, but it's not hard in your face. It's just
it's
like
not Rocket League. Like,
imagine if Rocket League took a nap. You know what I mean? But also wanted to stay awake. Like, it's enough to keep you going, but not like get you like ready to punch. It's just like I don't drink tea, but if I were someone who drank tea, this is like the same feeling you'd get from drinking tea. It's just like that kind of. Yeah. The paper airplanes, though, as you're
that deep breath you take when you clock out of work.
Yeah, it's that in a song, over and over. But you'll see the airplanes just kind of come flying into view, and when you click on them, it'll open it up and read the letter to you, or you read the letter, and then you can click on another one that's flying by or just move on. And
Can you respond to the paper airplanes, or are they just like
the paper airplanes? The only
one
thing you can
trip?
do is report them if there's something bad.
Oh, all right.
And not even something bad. So there are like, they in the options, there's a thing for like mental health awareness and the mental health organization or whatever. And then there are buttons in the report options. There's stuff where like, if you think people are like
on
the
edge,
verge,
yeah.
right? Like that's where you can
Oh wow, that's
like
that's actually like pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know what the developers do with that. I'm sure that if they get enough reports that someone seems like they're on the edge, that they'll probably reach out in some way, or I don't know.
I mean, they didn't put that button there for just to fucking have a button.
Yeah,
right?
no.
So,
Um,
I actually like this is a really cool idea.
it is really cool. I mean, it's $5 to be able to jump in and just kind of make an impact on somebody or have an impact made on you is.
I mean, sometimes it just feels good just to try to think you help someone.
And that was the cool thing too. So you get little stickers, so you can sign your responses with a sticker if you want to, and then when you send someone a response to their question, if they want to, they can respond with a sticker of their own, and you end up filling out your little
Okay,
sticker
so
book.
there is I was about to ask if there's like some kind of feedback of like
Yeah.
your advice was shit or your advice was.
You don't get your advice
yes
was
or
shit,
no, but
and you don't even get a
sticker.
thing. So let's just say you responded to L, because they just kind of take everybody's first name and just give the first.
That's fine.
You could write in your full fucking name, and they would just shorten it to M.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say you responded to somebody. You don't get a thing that says, "Hey, L liked your message." You just say someone liked what you said and sent a sticker back. So you don't really know who it was, because especially after a while, you're sitting there. I wrote like back to back to back.
Yeah,
to
we
back
did
to
like
back.
25 in one.
Yeah, you don't really know, but you're getting. I mean, I was surprised at how quickly I like wrote a thing up, put it out there, read a couple people's letters, and responded, and like went back to the menu, and it popped up and said like, "You have messages in your inbox," and I had like 3 responses already
That's really cool.
in like a 5-minute thing. So yeah, kind words on Steam now.
$5?
$5.
It's not bad. I
No,
mean, that's like
it's-
that's a cool. That's probably the most unique thing I've seen
That
this
was
year, at least.
Absolutely, yeah. I made a pot of coffee and sat there, had 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a
Just
Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's all it was. It was just like, I'm just gonna sit down, hang out.
I played a couple games of Rocket League and flamed someone for quitting, but then
Yeah,
maybe instead of doing that, I can
It was
offer
like
some kind words.
Yeah, you feel like you're like helping somebody, and in the end too, like I did feel like some of the people who were saying things, like as I'm writing it, I'm like, not in the same way like I said before, where you're writing to a past version of yourself, but you're writing something out, and you're like, oh wait, no, this totally helps something I'm going through. Like you feel.
Yeah, you get that empathy, and
Yeah, and it reminds you that like what you're going through is this, or that this is how you can get through. It was very unique. I like that. So
that's really cool.
yeah,
I think that's a really clever idea, and hopefully the community like one grows, but
Yeah.
two stays positive or correct. I'll use the word correct.
yeah, I think it will. I think I didn't see anything bad in mine. So
That's
that
good.
was- yeah.
That's good.
Well, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we've got 13 news items to go through, as well as a couple of
13 to
emails.
celebrate Friday the 13th. That just happened.
That is a weird coincidence. But check that out. We got a couple emails as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It is time for some news. Starting with, this was a weird, only confirmed via this trailer, Matt, but Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles confirmed crossplay.
All right.
I'm down. I never thought that I'd want that in that game, but I kind of want crossplay and everything, and I'm kind of mad when it doesn't have it. Playing DC Universe Online, I'm like,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have this on my Switch, which you can download, but the servers are different, so my character progress doesn't matter.
And it just does so much, like not just to let you play with your friends a lot easier, but it just does so much for the player count out there. If you're just trying to matchmake, like Rocket League nowadays, like
Yeah.
I'm in the games, no problem.
Yeah, and like there's the thing now where depending on the game, I forget what it was recently, but there was something where we were all talking about playing it, but I really wanted to play it on PC because I kind of could, but like we all weren't on it was something like that, and it was like I felt like resigned to have to get it on PlayStation or something like that. You know what I mean? Where you're like, man, if you could just do it anywhere, that'd be great.
Yeah, crossplay is a feature, but I'm kind of glad it's getting a remaster too.
Yeah, I only ever played it like once at somebody's house.
Never played it.
So, and we didn't play long.
Never played it. And I know this is one of those like kind of glorified Final Fantasies. So
yeah, people dig it. Control. Some DLC. So first we had the September update, which rolled out for PlayStation 4 first, and then Xbox and PCs right behind it. But that was for bug fixes, things related to DirectX 11 and 12 crashes on PC, things about improved map loading times, changing some progression thing. There's a whole detailed thing over at controlledgame.com. But, excuse me, in addition to the game getting some a little patch recently, we also heard about the first run of its DLC.
So funny enough, earlier in the show, I was talking about the room that had the secret little thing if you could levitate.
Yes.
It is literally the photo mode room.
Oh, yeah.
It's the furnace. So that's funny enough.
So we've got, speaking of photo mode. Oh, yeah, okay, I can see it. Photo mode, fall 2019. Expeditions, which is a brand new game mode coming December 2019, which that seems like a challenge room kind of thing or challenge map.
Yeah, I could if they mix enemies well, they could do a really good horror mode, especially in some of those environments. That looks to be towards the Black Rock Quarry, which was a unique kind of setting in that game, like probably 2/3 of the way in. So like if they utilize their different maps well with different enemy types, I think it'd be really cool.
We've got expansion 1 in early 2020, entitled The Foundation. Do we have any other details on what The Foundation is? It's story DLC, and we know that is going to be exclusive to PlayStation versions of the game.
So
for a while.
That's a really good image because if you never played a game, that looks like what the fuck is that? But if you play the game, you know exactly what is happening there. So I think that could answer a lot of maybe unanswered questions about some things.
Does that answer the questions that you've got at the end of the game?
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them. That photo alone, I can kind of see where they're hinting at, and the photo and the name, I can see where they're hinting at, and I'm curious to see that through.
Now, something else they might be very strongly hinting at is coming mid-2020 with expansion 2, currently titled Awe. AWE. Maybe not all, but AWE. Just a reminder that Remedy has very, what do you call it? They don't shy away from the fact that all of its games are in the same multiverse.
Universe. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm not going to go into it anymore, but you know,
Astral event is a real thing that they use in that game as well. So there is, something they can plug in that W for. It could just be a giant tease, although it seems to lean so heavy into that. So yeah,
it's probably coming.
I really look forward to that one as well.
Yeah,
I'm ready to play more of this game. It's just I don't want to do the side stuff. I want kind of I want more of that main stuff.
I get that. Kentucky Fried Chicken is the first place I go to when I think about dating sims, and thank God for me, looks like the Colonel is getting... yeah. I love you, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. Why the fuck?
Because we have a dating simulators with pigeons, and dads, so...
It's true. You know what, though? Where immediately when I saw this pop up in Slack, I was like, fuck you, is my first reaction. Now sitting here, an older, wiser man by a few days, I'll say that I miss having dumbass license. Like, remember the fucking stupid the McDonald's games on Genesis and Cool
Sneak
Spot,
King,
Sneak King, right? Like, bring back, dude.
Chex Quest.
Chex Quest. I saw Mike Micah, developer, tweeted out about remastering Sneak King, that he would be down to do it. So
Yo, you got to fix the game first.
yeah, I'm down. Mike Micah works with Digital Eclipse, who do all of the they did the Mega Man Legacy Collection, the first one that kind of set the ball rolling on that. They just recently, I believe, they're the ones behind the Lion King stuff. Lion King Aladdin.
All right.
So, yeah, man, bring back Sneak King.
Look, dude, I plug this a lot here that AVDQ or SD, sorry,
ADGQ,
my
all
God.
AGDQ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Game's done quick, whether it's winter or summer. There is a Sneak King run that's worth watching. Tons of fun.
Yeah, that was a good one. Because they explain it, too. Like, you got people who are hardcore into speed running Sneak King.
And he's like, all right, so if I do this means this is broken. Like, that's my favorite line.
Yeah.
But I think this is the appropriate response to delay the fact that they don't have a chicken sandwich to compete
They're not
with
keeping
Chick-fil-A or Popeyes.
Now, tell me about this bullshit that I heard, where apparently Popeyes will give you a chicken sandwich without the bun.
Build your own chicken. It's literally chicken tenders, and they encourage you to bring
Your
a
own
bun. Because I think that was the issue. They didn't have enough buns.
Is this thing really that fucking good, or is it just hype? That's what I'm...
I don't know. I couldn't get there. I couldn't... now it's gone, evidently.
Gone for good?
I'm sure it's like the McRib. It never dies.
Yeah, I don't know. If anything, it just drove sales for Chick-fil-A sandwich up, because you know what I mean? You're already there. You're like, well, now I'm sandwiching up.
Dude, they got Jimmy's Famous Seafood to make a bomb-ass chicken sandwich. Chicken sandwich, crab dip on top.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's like one of my go-to menu items now.
I could do that. You know what else I could do? I could complain about NBA 2K20 on social media using the hashtag #FixTwo K20.
What a downfall. So I even care about the fact that it's a Twitter campaign against the game, whatever. We've known for a couple years that the microtransaction scene has kind of come along. Now there seems to be bugs. It seems like they had to hit a release date and they weren't quite ready for it. But just what a fall from, like, think of like NBA 2K16.
Yeah. Was 2K16 the Spike Lee one?
I don't. I'm just naming a one from a few years back, right?
Yeah.
But just think of where the pinnacle of that basketball game was, and how high in regard that was held. And now we have a Twitter campaign against this game, and EA is just lurking in the shadows
with nothing,
waiting maybe to release a live game this year. We never know. They might cancel it. They might release it late.
Right. Might come out in January. Might come out after the fucking...
NBA Live 220 in 2021. You know?
Yeah, it'll be out in July after the season's over.
So, all this... I just want to point this out. The sports thing either, one, needs to go biannual.
It needs to go live game. It's got to go...
Or live game.
Yeah.
Or competitions needed.
Yes. Why not both? You know?
I would be down for both.
Honestly, I feel like we are only a year or two away from one of the EA Sports games going free to play. All you need is enough consecutive years of a downward trend in sales, and that game's going to drop its price tag.
Or drop forever.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean...
Yeah.
2K got the baseball rights, so then EA said, fuck it. They made a college baseball game to try to compete, and that didn't sell, and they said, all right, we're out.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because MVP Baseball 2004 and 2005 are some of the best baseball games ever played.
Well, apparently NBA 2K20 is not. Some folks on Twitter started this hashtag after seemingly stuff that you're buying with real money is not... Your progression isn't moving, which is bad.
Yeah.
There was stuff where...
If anything needs to work, is the stuff you spend money on.
Yeah, so the stuff where attribute bars are frozen in place, or in some cases working backwards, so you're downgrading, and it's stuff that people have spent real money to get to raise those stats. So yeah,
and it's just like regular I don't know. It's just things that shouldn't be happening. Like an athlete getting clipping into a backboard. Like,
Yeah,
you dunk all the time. Like, that can't happen.
No, that's one of the key things. If this was a football game and somebody's like clipping through the field goal, like, okay, you're not always
going
to be back there.
Out of bounds all of a sudden. Like, you can't have that.
No, fuckers. It seems bad.
It seems like a fall of grace for 2K. And it's been a couple years coming, I feel like.
I wonder if, just with the annualization of all these franchises, I wonder if maybe we're looking at next year to be a big game, right? And the team maybe started putting all of its efforts into next year's game to get ready for the big console launches.
I mean, possibly. What I always love, and the other games could be doing this because I just don't follow them as closely. Like, even NHL don't follow as closely. I just look at the bullet points and like, oh, nothing changed again. How great. But the MLB stuff, like, I actually watch some of those Twitch streams. Those IGN usually has like an exclusive with one of the executive producers, and they go through like a weekly series. But like, one of the things I love that the MLB, the show people say is like, hey, there is a 3-year plan for this mode. And like, you're seeing like the first iteration of it here, and we hope by year 3 to complete it. But like, this is our idea of what is acceptable for this first year. And then they build upon it. Like, that was the big thing the last couple years for Road to the Show. And they completely have revamped and overhauled that mode.
Sure.
And it's something completely different than what it was 3 years ago, which is really cool. But it's just like, if you're doing 3 years there and 3 years with their trading card with Diamond Dynasty, and then 3 years with franchise mode, like, what time? Like, it's taken 9 years to completely overhaul a whole mode.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So like, just like, at what point do we just go once every 2 years or as a service?
You look at what Forza did this time around, because Forza has basically been an annual franchise. It's just they're flip-flopping studios and flip-flopping whatever, but this year's the first year where we're not getting that. We're just continuing with Horizon 4. You had the Lego DLC in the summer, which I don't think is necessarily meant to act as a fall update, but Forza's different, right? Forza's not on a clock the same way that a sports or that a professional sports league is on that clock, right?
Madden comes like every August. You expect the new Madden. And like, what's the thing about John Madden showed his head? Like, like.
But you could do a Madden 20, right? That's what just came out.
Yeah.
And then leave it at that. Like, people who bought it's weird because you still have the audience for Madden, for NBA 2K20, and NBA 2K20, for all of that. They are bigger than what a live game is typically, right? Like, a live game is not typically going to be your big box store game, where these need to be, you need to have a new Madden 21 in a Walmart, in a Target, in a Best Buy, like that still need, in a GameStop, well, more on that later, but you need to have those physical copies in a store with that new number on it for people to buy it. Like, it's still a thing that people, they go and they buy their disc and they do that and whatever. For one reason or another, whether it's internet infrastructure in the country or people's just aversion to digital media, like there's still a reason for that to happen, but I don't know why you couldn't get to a point where what's under the hood, because it already isn't huge leaps year over year, but
it hasn't been for a while. It hasn't been since probably like the PS3, Xbox One era.
So I don't know where you like.
I don't know. I forget, like, Madden comes out and then watch week 1 of the NFL, and like, they did, it's kind of a really funny commercial how because they're showing off that knockout mode.
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of clever, but like, before I saw the commercial and before like the free to play weekend, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, Madden came out. And so like, it's one of those things. I even, like, for the first time in a while, I don't even know when NHL comes out, like, by heart this year. Like, I know it's in September at some point. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Great. I haven't bought it yet.
Or last Friday, if you're listening to this. Yeah.
So, yeah, Matt hasn't bought NHL because he's getting sick of the same shit over and over again.
I heard this was good, though. I mean, good's relative. I know. But, yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know.
So, I mean, everyone else has kind of changed. It's about time that industry changes. It's just, I don't think shareholders of those two companies want to change. Yeah. Or they don't want to see that change because they're scared of it.
It's a hard problem to solve. I I wouldn't want to be the one to solve that problem.
It's hard to say. It's hard to argue when you flip like 1 million copies of Madden every year,
right?
And then be like, all right, well, we're not doing the 1 million copies. We might be able to sell 500,000 like 2021 roster live updates for the year at $20.
But what about this? What if we expect to lose half in our physical sales, so we implement more ways to produce that currency with in-game transactions, right? Like, what if, like,
but already, you see, the thing is, you can't argue that because they're already making the money with in-game transactions, like Ultimate Team, across the board.
What if you put in a new hook that incentivizes even more of that? You know what I mean? Like, what if we can get the few who are buying it to pay even more for in-game transactions? Like, that might be where they look at it as a line item. And
it's messy. It's messy.
Dangerous way of thinking, looking at things as numbers, as we're seeing currently play out with GameStop, who in a statement this week, the company's CFO attributed the drop in sales trends to consistent with what we have historically observed towards the end of a hardware cycle. This is, of course, being said in the wake of announcing that it will close as many as 200 stores before the end of 2019, after another reported $415.3 million loss, which, it's fucked.
I don't like digital. It's digital.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw when PC switched to digital with Steam, no more PC boxes.
Let me ask you this, though. Because digital is obviously convenient, right? That is just the way to go. I don't remember the last time I bought a physical game. Labo VR, because it came with it inherently. You know what I mean? Like, that was...
I think the only thing I will probably get on a disc every year, it's probably 2K. WWE 2K, just for filming reasons.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say, and where do you get that?
Target.
Okay. Right. Why aren't you going to GameStop to buy that game?
I don't know if I can deal with people.
Elaborate.
Sorry, I don't want to walk up to the counter, hand them the disc, and then be like, all right, let me pull out my piece of paper. Not literally, but let me... Yeah. What feels like they're reading off a piece of paper. Do you want insurance for this game? Have you seen any games you want to pre-order? How about Call of Duty's coming out in November or October? Are you ready to pre-order that? No? All right, so have you heard that there might be another... Battlefield's coming out soon, right?
All right, you want to got it. Yeah.
Okay. But it goes longer than that,
I know, right? And that is exactly the point I'm getting at. So... do you feel that GameStop would be in this predicament if you could walk into a place like a comic book store environment and feel welcomed? And I remember working in a comic shop, and this is brought back to memory because I picked up all my comics from my dad's house, and I have all these fucking long boxes in my basement now. But thinking back to that, like working there and even being a patron at a comic shop, there is a sense of community when you go there where you walk in and people are talking the same language you're talking, they're excited about it. And as someone who worked there, and like, yeah, our goal is to get people to subscribe to books so that they keep coming back and keep buying shit from us. But I'm not going to sit there and like hound people in a way that felt inauthentic. When I genuinely would talk to someone to try and get them to buy a book, it was never because I was looking out for the bottom line. It was because I was saying, oh, dude, Matt,
I like what going on here.
I know you because you come into the store every Wednesday to pick up your books, and I know that you have been subscribing to these 6 books. Dude, the guy that you like, that writer, is making a new book. You got to check it out. And I would often find, like, I remember there was a book called Chew, written by a guy named John Layman, and I sold so many copies of that book. I mean, the book kind of sold itself. It was a really good fucking book. But I remember selling so many copies of that book week 1 because I really liked it, and I knew the people that had recommended me things as customers to employees, like, and I could make
that relationship, that rapport.
Right? And like, there was never that in GameStop. Like, you might occasionally get, someone shining through the cracks who has that, but more often than not, it's somebody who got the job there because it was a game store and it seemed easy or whatever. Yeah. And then
they knew the alphabet,
right? And they're boggled down with this just shitty, like, checklist mentality.
And it sucks because
it's inauthentic.
Because you have to get the numbers or you lose your hours.
Right. Yeah, and that's
that's the caveat. That's why it's so like even the good ones even have to like fucking do whatever it takes. Like I remember, I had a roommate in college that worked for GameStop at some point. And I was, like it.
Yeah, no, I knew people too, and it's just sucked. Like
I felt bad. Like it was fine for him. Like even if you lost hours or whatever, it was just like a side gig for spending money. But
right. But it's not a good feeling to know that like you're bound to this thing, and I don't know. I feel like if they could get to the point where. I mean, it might be too late for GameStop, but I would love a physical place because not that I would go in and buy my brand new copy of whatever, right? I'm not going to run out to a store and buy Control, but I might be inclined to go to a place that's more local just to get. Because, dude, I do not go out anymore, like barely. I've been pushing myself a little bit, like. Went to a Target, like a 20-minute drive away Target. No. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to go out of the way. Go to a new Target just to get a different experience. But that's life now. If I had a place like this where I could go in and get a code even to punch into a digital store, but have some sort of camaraderie with another human being and talk about stuff. I mean, hey, it's nice that we have this podcast because we can get together once a week and do that kind of stuff. But this is the kind of stuff that you would physically do in a place like a comic shop. Yeah. But that doesn't exist. So maybe
it'd be cool to just like wander in like it's like the public library and just like, dude, fucking Control's awesome. That ending kind of was like, but
a place
90% of the way there was awesome.
I mean, you think about a comic shop, like people were in the back playing Magic or HeroClix or whatever. You got people reading books and talking about it. Like you could build that environment. You could do it in a really cool way. And I feel like GameStop was this a dream, or did GameStop start rolling out like a new boutique design? Like kind of hangout place. Was that something that they had talked about?
They may have talked about it. I don't know. They talked about a lot of things and never roll it out.
Yeah, I don't know. But that would have been like a cool thing of like, you cut down on all the fucking Funko Pops and board games and mugs and shirts and all that. It's there, right? Because you got to make...
You got to sell.
That's a high markup. Like you usually buy that stuff at next to Dick and you're selling it for way up. So that's a good way to pull in revenue. But you could have all that shit and then have like a little space for people to like host local tournaments. Like there's all these things that could happen.
Like two tables this size.
I know. It wouldn't be hard.
And then if you really want to get, I can see where this is like crossing the line, but if you really want to get cool, fucking Ethernet ports.
Why not?
Bring your laptop, bring your console.
Yeah.
Well, you have a couple of displays. Like 21-inch, 18-inch displays. Like nothing huge.
It would draw people in, man.
Little lands.
You could do some cool shit in that space.
And it'll make me go in and want to talk about like one of the cool moments with the ashtray maze in Control to someone. Like,
but most of the times you go into a GameStop, it's someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, and they're trying to tell you about something that you're like, no, that's you're wrong.
And it's
like,
the awareness of like, all right, like you walk in, I'd like to think we have a good grasp on
I'd say so, yeah.
But like they're talking to us like we have no idea what's going on. It's like, dude, you're talking to the wrong people.
You are factually incorrect, and you're fucking up the wrong tree.
And you're wrong.
Yeah, you are fucking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, Insomniac is just now a first party, not when Ratchet and Clank was a thing.
Yeah. Like
dumbass.
Some of the dumb shit that I've heard people say just. And it's one thing when they're like misinformed, but it's one thing when they're like blatantly do it just to whatever. It just it's fucking gross. Did you watch the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer from Tokyo Game Show?
Yes. Not the gameplay, though.
What do you think?
Oh.
You ready for it? Oh. Yeah.
I thought, just a little sneak peek into Game of the Year, I thought play next year was an easy win for 2077.
Oh. But now Final Fantasy VII. Ooh. Yeah?
We got a little bit of a debate internally and when we discuss.
Interesting. Well, the real answer is Rocksteady's Green Lantern Corps that will be announced at the Game Awards this year, Matt. December 12th, 2019, the 5th anniversary of Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. King Keighley's, the Game Awards.
Mrs. Keighley, maybe.
Wow. But Mrs. Kojima. Mrs. Kojima.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He would take the name.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is coming. We've probably got some big... Did we get a Smash character out of that, maybe?
I don't know, but I know Death Stranding's won a Game of the Year.
Dude,
I think it's best performance.
Yeah.
He's gonna run the gauntlet.
He'll have a new award for best cameo by a game show host.
And he'll
by a
win.
game award. Yeah. There you go.
Maybe that's a new category for us. Best Jeff and Hideo moment of the
You
year.
know what? We are all going to play Death Stranding. If we play through and there are some fucking cameos, that might be a category for us.
I'll vote for Jeff Keighley.
Best Death Stranding
Because
cameo.
of their marriage.
The
The one that Jeff thinks he has, but Hideo's like, no.
that's such a weird thing to.
It's so good.
He tweets at Kojima a lot, like a lot. He tweets at Kojima more than I text my girlfriend, who I love very much. Like, there's, like,
Good for him.
yeah.
He's just a fan.
Yeah. Speaking of loving very much, Konami put out a new trailer for Castlevania Grimoire of Souls. In case you forgot, we forgive you. That is that iOS Castlevania game, or iOS and Android Castlevania game that apparently is not dead. I played beta or alpha version of that. Like,
It was in Japanese. He didn't know.
yeah, but it was well over a year ago.
this.
I never found a good answer for whether or not that was under, like, you know, an embargo or an NDA or anything, because the agreement I signed was not in English. So, but I didn't want to like come out and talk about it. But I remember I played it for a while, as long as the beta was running, and this looks very similar, but also with some new stuff. So there's a new multiplayer mode with. So it looks like they took out. There was a PvP section that was there before, and they seemingly removed that in favor of this new multiplayer mode. But what they show in the trailer is you're playing as. It kind of seems like a little bit. Like the one that we played on Xbox, and the Harmony of Despair. Harmony of Despair.
Yeah,
the one where
on PS3, not Xbox.
PS3 and Xbox. Yeah, it's on. It's
Yeah.
on. Yeah. But you're choosing between Richter, Simon, Alucard, Shanoa, Maria, like
The
all
cast of characters.
all the ones you know and love. Working your way through story mode, multiplayer. It looks good, and with iOS 13 supporting controllers, like, this is.
All right.
And I'll say, playing it on a touchscreen wasn't bad when I did. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a bad time with the input, surprisingly, right? Like,
I mean, touchscreen is a touchscreen at the end of the day, but I mean, if it didn't feel terrible, that's
I remember
always a
it
plus.
working. Honestly, it's been so long now that I don't remember the specifics. But, you know, normally you think about translating this game to touch, and it was like, ugh, this is going to be bad. And I don't remember being upset at it. So, yeah.
I mean, part of it can just be level design, making it just a little bit more forgiving than your usual tight.
Sure.
But well, no, I'm glad that's working out for those Castlevania fans.
Yeah.
Maybe not the ideal platform they want to play it on, but still something.
Exactly. Release date still TBD. I was kind of hoping we'd get something a little more final out of Tokyo Game Show this week, but alas, we didn't. Yeah, you okay? You're gonna make it. Stay hydrated, you know. But that trailer's out there now if you want to check that out. Speaking of things that are out there now,
All right, we're good.
a big old list of games coming to Apple Arcade out after Apple's event last week. So for $4.99 per month, starting on September 19th, you can join Apple Arcade. The cool thing about this is it's giving you games playable across iPhone, iPad, iPod, Mac, and Apple TV. There's a 1-month free trial. And here are the games. You ready, Matt?
Bring them on.
Ballistic Baseball. You down?
I thought you were just run through the list, but sure. All right, let's do it.
It's an action-packed arcade baseball game that captures the intense battle between pitcher and batter in live head-to-head multiplayer matches.
I'll do that.
You got Choo Choo Rocket Universe, bringing back the Choo Choo Rocket franchise. Exit the Gungeon, the follow-up to
This is interesting. A little sequel.
Enter the Gungeon. Yeah, didn't expect that.
Like a 1.5 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Overland from Finji. I've seen this a little bit before. It's like a post-apocalyptic survival-y thing, kind of isometric view. Looks neat. Pac-Man Party Royale, I believe, is like an adaptation of that one that's at Dave & Buster's. I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, let's make a rule where if you say Royale, I expect 50 or more.
Well, this is 4-player battle mode.
Yeah,
so,
not 50 or more.
Yeah. Projection First Light, about a girl living in a mythological shadow puppet world. Rayman Mini, Shantae and the Seven Sirens from Way Forward. Skate City, new skateboarding game. Sneaky Sasquatch. Steven Universe, Unleash the Light. Super Impossible Road, it's a high-speed racing game. The Bradwell Conspiracy, like an adventure thriller with a humorous twist. The Enchanted World from Noodle Cake, you're helping a young fairy piece together a magical world torn apart by dark forces. And Various Daylife from Square Enix, the new RPG from Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler developers. There are more that are not in this list, but that's the big list on the Apple press release. They also showed off a Frogger game at that the event, as well as a new IP from Capcom.
Yeah, and they you said this is not all of them, but
it'll be what,
over
100
new and exclusive games like rolling out at some point this fall.
Yeah, the exclusive thing was a little weird to me because it was said like things debuting on the wording was these will be exclusive debuts on a subscription service. But one of them was like Sayonara Wild Hearts, but that was already shown off like on Switch, is coming to Switch. But that was also one where they're like, this is exclusive to, and it's like, well, it's.
What they need is they need to make a partnership with Microsoft, and then Tim Cook point to the screen, and then you hear Apple Arcade first premiere.
There it
and
is.
then just roll with that, and for
they're getting there. They're just
Microsoft at least makes that pretty.
Yeah, but they're just getting into this world. I'm gonna at least try it. Right, $5. I mean,
first month's free.
First month's free.
Yeah,
so
it's. I mean, Xbox does it $15 for 2 consoles, and the fact that I have 2 right in front of me, literally right now, that can handle all these games is pretty incredible. And there's a bunch of different publishers there.
Again, to reiterate, the PlayStation and Xbox controllers work on these devices now. Yeah. I've done it on the beta, so I'm there for that.
13 rolls out the 19th, and
19th,
iPad
Thursday.
It's the iPad OS the 30th. Yep. Yeah. So.
Like, it's all there. So, I think the other cool thing about this is it is solving the problem that was created by the App Store in the first place, right?
Yep.
Developers had a hard time getting their games out there in a paid fashion, so this is letting people try this stuff out. I think it's cool.
And I think what it also shows is that the subscription stuff, whatever that model looks like, works.
Yeah.
Whether it's Game Pass, PlayStation Now, or now Apple Arcade. So there's something there with a revenue stream that's working for everyone. So,
which is good because I as a consumer feel good. Like, I feel great about Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not using it all that much. But,
me neither, but I'm not mad that I'm spending money on it. So,
and I don't feel bad about playing Gears because I bought it
I played Crackdown 3 for a while earlier this year, and I wouldn't have touched that game at all if it hadn't been for Game Pass.
I didn't have my Xbox yet. If I had my Xbox, I would have probably dove in for an hour. But
there's still time. Still there, still on.
I think I'm good. I think I've played enough disappointing games this year to.
Speaking of disappointing games, Team Liquid's Dota team has left Team Liquid.
This is such a Matt news story because there's it seems historically after TI that a lot of movement happens around the different teams. There's really no kind of free agency like you would see in NFL. It just kind of happens, and I speculate that will lead to something more major down the road, but that's not here yet, or I'm not going to talk about that now. But yeah, Team Liquid is so. Liquid, the team, no longer has any players. The 5 players that were on Team Liquid are still going to be a team, but they're going to kind of all own a new team We don't know the name yet, but there will still be a team.
All right. What would you name your Dota team if you were starting a Dota team?
Cruel Intentions.
Ah, nice. I like that a lot. That's a good idea.
I've been staring at a shirt, not because it says Cruel Intentions, more because of the Sarah Michelle Gellar. But,
you're welcome. $3.88 on clearance at the Target that I went to that was 20, actually a little further than 20, maybe like 25, 30 minutes away.
You've really ventured out there.
I went for a hike. It was a weird Target, man. It was eerily quiet.
I want to talk what Target you went to.
Oh, yeah.
After the fact.
I'll lay it down. The guy at the fucking check, so when you ring up this shirt, at self-checkout, it didn't like that it rang up weird because it was a clearance item. The guy came over and he was like real confused as to what I was buying. And I was like, I mean, dude, it's a Cruel Intention shirt for $3.88. And he was like, well, yeah, you got to buy it. And I was like, yeah, just in case people look at me and they're like, what? And I'm like, cool. He was like, yeah, well, or, you could, if someone asked you why you did that, you could be like, and just point to the title on your shirt. And I'm like, yes, I could. Yes, I could do that. And then I paid and left.
CI. We could be CI at TI.
All right. Well, yeah, we could. There.
Who wants to handle Sarah? Who wants Ryan? And who wants Reese?
Dibs on Selma Blair.
There's a fifth in that movie, right? At some point.
Probably.
There's probably some dog in there and something. I don't know. There's a parent. There are parents in there. I don't know their names.
James McAvoy. Ring Fit Adventure. What a weird. Did we talk about this last week? The little tease for the Nintendo Fitness thing?
Oh, no, we didn't, because no one said it was their most shocking nor their favorite.
Yeah, so Ring Fit Adventure was announced in the creepiest way possible. Did you watch that trailer, the 7-minute thing?
No.
All right, well, tonight when you're like, I feel safe and happy, sit down and watch this fucking trailer and just let yourself get spooked. Because these people are not humans, man. I'm not... There's like a weird... There's something weird about the two people they got to introduce this thing.
You think they're Yoroha?
They might
Corrupt
be part
Yoroha?
of... Like, it's really unsettling. So it's 7-minute trailer, the details of what this is. The game itself, it seems to be an adventure game.
Sure.
Where... So there's a wheel that you hold that has something inside of it that will like help to increase resistance and shit like that. And you put a Joy-Con in there to track whatever. And then there's a leg strap. You strap around your leg, you put another Joy-Con in there. And it'll have you do things like to chase after a goblin, you got to run in place to hurry up and get there. And then to attack it, maybe you use your bow. So you're using this ring to stretch and pull and push it. It's a fitness thing that adds a game to it, which there were a lot of mini games in Wii Fit U that kind of did similar things. This seems like it's one big thing. And then you also have like daily challenges. There's 40 different activities. That's a lot of games. So $80 for this, I'm fucking there fully. Like, look, I sit at a desk all day. I don't work out because who has time for that shit? If I can play a game,
I'll be back.
You're gonna pull the Wii Fit U out. I know what you're doing. God damn. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a good... There ain't no dust. All right, there's a little bit of dust. Congratulations, you have my skin on your finger.
Motherfucker, there is dust.
You have my skin on your finger.
Not the first time. Cruel Intentions, baby. Yeah. It's worth it to prove a point. That Wii Fit board had. Trust me, I noticed all Wii U things in this basement, all of them, and I can see that's been there for a while.
So
and,
I will tell you, I think about the Wii Fit regularly enough.
Why would you think about the Wii Fit?
Because there's days where you wake up and you look down and you go, "Come on, dude." So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go. Look, my bike that I used to love to ride has a busted inner tube. That means I gotta go buy a new inner tube. That's a whole fucking thing.
You just drove 25 minutes to a Target.
Yeah, I know. But again, the Wii Fit is the closest I'm gonna get to doing anything active. But I don't know if you've turned on a Wii U lately, Matt. I'd be surprised.
You're asking the wrong person.
That thing takes a fucking while to load up.
Yeah, no shit.
Let
This
alone
is a
get
Fisher
into
Price toy.
It's not as snappy as the Switch, right? So to jump into that would be a hassle. I'm excited about this. I'm getting a new Apple Watch soon. Got a real old Apple Watch, ready to upgrade that. It's going to motivate me a little bit. I need something to keep me active. I'm telling you, things start to break down. I carried those fucking boxes today, and I felt like my back just completely locked up. You gotta stay hydrated. You gotta stay
I'm
in
getting a little
motion.
beer belly over here, a little bit of one.
So this might seem a little attractive
I'm
to
not
you.
getting that.
There's no we branding on it though. There's no you branding.
I don't need a we or a you branding on it.
What are you gonna do? Join a gym like an asshole?
I mean, I've been paying for a gym membership that I haven't gone to.
What?
My work reimburses me. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. High fucking Tower, and your goddamn reimbursement, but okay, let's say you one day have that thing where you're like, all right, I got to do something about this. You gonna go to the gym?
Hell no, I'm not going to the gym.
When you could buy a perfectly good Switch peripheral?
I used to, when I cared a little bit back in college, maybe just outside of college when I started working out for that brief little 3-month period. Again, I did something called the kill-death ratio, where I would do however many sit-ups, like whatever was more, right? Kills or deaths, I would do more sit-ups, and then I would do that many push-ups, and play the next round of something, whether it's Call of Duty.
Oh, that's not
Call
bad.
of Duty. And then
I
after
do
every round, I
little.
would do like that while between games to just waste time.
I'll do little things like if in the morning while I'm waiting in the shower to heat up, I'll do sit-ups or something or push-ups or something. But it's still not. This seems a little more. Look, I'm down.
going to play support, and what's going to happen is I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to start doing that. But then, healing done, when I'm in the 4,000s, I'm going to do 4,000 sit-ups between games because sometimes it takes so long to get into games in Overwatch with that goddamn skirmish.
Not as long as it takes for Quake Champions. Which, side note, I installed this morning. I'm not kidding. I was like, fuck it. Why not?
I would go in with you.
No, you won't. No, you won't. You can't. That's the point. I'm so mad. I was going to text you guys too, but I would have
played because I think it's live installed.
Uninstall it. There's no point. You can't fucking play it unless you're going to play with bots. I'm not fucking with you. I queued up. I still have yet to be able to play Capture the fucking Flag since they introduced it a year ago. So I booted it up, queued in. 2 minutes went by. Couldn't find anything. All right, let me add Deathmatch into the mix. Queued it up. Couldn't find anything. 2 minutes went by. Like, all right, I'm giving it a minute and a half. I queued up for everything except for free-for-all. Minute and a half. Couldn't find anything. Added everything into the mix. All things queued. Waited a minute. Nothing. Which, yeah, maybe I should wait longer, but like, I'm not going to waste half my Saturday morning queuing into Quake Champ. Uninstall. Fuck you. I'm out.
Wow.
Have fun, Tim Willits. I'm not playing your fucking game. Terrible. Terrible. You want to do some fucking push-ups? Download Quake Champions. There you go. End of that. Project Resistance got shown off this week. Capcom's brand new 5-player Resident Evil game. You get to see a group of 4 kids, which we have names for now.
Oh, all right.
Whose names I don't have in front of me. I remember.
I don't remember.
Mark was sending this in our text messages, not in Slack, but it was.
That explains why I can't find it.
It was there was the Mark character and then 3 others. But each of the 4 kids fighting in this have their own kind of personality traits. Somebody's better with their fists, aka Mark. Somebody's better with technology, so they can hack into things a little bit faster or whatever. And it seems like it's tapping into that Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight vibe a little bit. We were kind of thinking it'd be more Left 4 Dead, but it seems a little bit less like that.
Seems a little bit like Evolve,
yeah.
Like some kind of, but without the monster.
Yeah, people are playing it at
more like an overlord kind of thing. 4 survivors are Tyrone, the tank with the powerful kick ability to boost his teammates' fortitude. January, a hacker who can shut down security cameras and other gadgets. Valerie, a healer who can ping her surroundings to find items and deploy a healing area of effect ability. And Samuel, who can deal heavy melee damage which can be critical in confined spaces. Samuel equals Mark.
Yeah. Yep. So that people are playing it at TGS right now. You can sign up for the beta. If you sign up, I think it's by the end of the month. Beta runs from October 4th to 7th for like a weekend. I went to go sign up the other day, but you need to sign up for a Resident Evil fan club account or some shit. If you're playing on one platform, if you're playing on another, you need to sign up for something. It was a whole, I was like doing it on my phone, right. And I was like, I'll do this one on my computer. You got until September 30th to enroll, so I'll do it before then. And our last news story for the week, Yakuza 7. I forgot about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this, but Yakuza 7, big departure for the series. Yakuza 6 saw the end of the story arc for Kazuma Kiryu, but the franchise is picking up with a new hero, Ichiban Kasuga, for Yakuza 7. And it's not just that the character is changing, but the studio decided that the battle system is now, or there's no more fighting, right? Yakuza known for its fighting system, all gone, Matt.
All right.
We're talking turn-based battle system based on Dragon Quest. Because I don't know if it was the director of the game, but someone working on these games was like, yeah, I play a lot of Dragon Quest, and that's a pretty good game. So we're gonna make a Yakuza game with that. So Yakuza 7 is gonna be a turn-based RPG, basically. At least for the battle system. The talk was that if, that sucks and people hate it, then they'll go back to something or go back to the drawing board. But that Judgment game came out earlier this year, which seems to keep going with that combat style of the Yakuza games there. And Yakuza 7 trying to branch out on its own, do its own thing, which seems pretty cool. I think it's cool when a game like that can shift its genre so sharply.
I like the fact they're still calling it Yakuza 7 too. Like now they're trying to make like that the Judgment game, and then
I think actually it
Judgment
did get
like
a
7.
different. Hold on, I think they are changing the name of it actually.
What, from 7 to something?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Well,
like they were calling it Yakuza 7, but now
okay, the co-name. All right. But yeah, I mean, it's still.
Yeah, now it's called Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
Which it was going to be Yakuza 7, but now.
I think that's the safer road to go to. I was about to say that's a bold move there, but I think Yakuza has a pretty. I feel like it's been brought up more recently. I know there's been a lot of games released like Yakuza 0.
They also
Judgment.
I think almost everything is playable on PS3 at this point, or PS4, because a lot of them were PS3. A lot of them weren't localized. They've done a lot of work to localize them in America in the last few years, and then also bring all those old collections from PS3 to PS4. So.
Yes, I mean, like, there's just been a lot of more buzz, I feel like, around the Yakuza, whether it's just a newer game or a remaster or up-res, whatever, or just a new spin-off like Judgment. So, I mean, good on them for trying something new.
Yeah. Well, that is our news for the week. So we will get into emails, Matt. We've got 2 emails this week. Thank you for sending in your messages last few weeks and this week, of course. Podcast@thefreecheese.com is where you can go to send us your questions or your thoughts. That's podcast@thefreecheese.com, just like Jeff did, who says, do you remember when everyone hated Wind Waker because it was cartoony, but now everyone seems to think it's a good game? Have you ever had a game where you initially thought it looked dumb, but it turned out to be one of your favorites? I had that feeling with Pikmin when I first got my GameCube and really only wanted Super Smash Bros., but it turned out to be one of my favorite franchises ever. Where's Pikmin for Miyamoto? Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Matt?
Can you go first on this one? Nothing's coming to mind.
I read this one and I still didn't have anything come to mind. There's been things like where through time I've turned around on them, like something like Destiny, where I remember when Destiny got announced, I was so excited about it because it seemed like finally I could, because I'd never played Halo. It always seemed like I missed the boat on Halo, which now I feel pretty good about, but I never felt like I could break through that barrier. And with Destiny 1, it felt like a good point for me to reset. And then I played the demo of it and thought it sucked. And then now I'm way back. That's one that comes to mind, but that's not really in the spirit of this question.
I don't know. I can't think of a good answer, like kind of off the top of my head here, and I feel kind of bad.
For me, Final Fantasy's always turned me off. But that was also, I think,
well,
because
13 sucks. You keep.
That's probably the best. No, but like when I was a kid, I would go to a friend's house and he played Final Fantasy all the time, and they always seemed boring to me because nothing was happening, right? Like you weren't in motion. You were so stagnant. You were kind of wandering through that world map, finding a thing, standing still to fight it, and it just seemed lame. And now that I've gone back and played a lot of them, I wish I'd done it way sooner and ridden that wave a little bit earlier in my life, but that one kind of comes to mind.
I mean, literally, like, looking at your thing just to get, like, a genre here, and there's got to be something, I just can't think of it, and I feel, that's bad. I kind of want to cheat a little bit and say a Final Fantasy game as well, but, like, the ones I played, I like, I adore. Yeah. I will never budge on 13. Maybe 13.2 and 13.3 when I play them, but never 13 because that game's terrible. The Wii U is another classic example of a console that is awful, and I will never come around on that.
The Lego games, when they first...
I always thought they were fine, though. Like, they're fine, like,
I always thought, like,
gameplay-wise.
And then I played Lego Batman. Once a property was involved that I cared about, because I didn't care about Star Wars or Indiana Jones. And then when Batman came along, I was like, I can do this.
I'm trying to think of, like, a developer that they're just dismissed. Like, I never... I don't know. This is a bad answer, but, like, recently Alan Wake, like, it was just something I always dismissed. And then, like, the Control expansion thing happens, and then it became free on Epic, so all the stars kind of aligned for me to play it. Now I'm like, holy shit, why haven't I played this before? I'm sure there's other things on Xbox that I've missed the boat on. Not just missed the boat on, but, like, sat there as a PlayStation fanboy. I was like, oh, that's fucking stupid because I'm a PlayStation fanboy.
Right.
Killzone's better than Halo. I never said that, by the way.
Yeah.
Halo was always a better game. But I have a feeling come November I'm going to be saying it about Fire Emblem.
Oh, I'd like that. You know what? Oh, man. So this, Jeff, if you could write in and ask us this question again, come like April, May of next year, I'd love if Matt would say this shit about Animal Crossing.
Oh, there's no way.
Oh.
I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
Matt, this game's different. You can make your own path. Literally and metaphysically, phorically. You can carve out your own path.
What the fuck? No. What's the end game?
The end game is you go to the island, you catch bugs, you catch sharks, you bring them back, you sell them. This game...
Oh, I know. Sea of Thieves.
Oh, go on.
Sea of Thieves was that game I immediately shit on from the start.
Yeah.
Whenever I really like playing it, because it looked fucking stupid. There was no story.
Yeah. Still isn't. Well, there kind of is.
But I played it, and I get it. It's not my favorite game in the world, but if you and Mark were one day to say, sail the seas, I think I would be game.
I uninstalled it from my PC just to make some room, but I've kept it on my Xbox.
So, yeah, I think that's probably a good...
Sea of Thieves is a good answer for this.
For me, yeah.
Yeah. Not bad.
All right. Probably something better, but Sea of Thieves is probably like that. Yeah. That's the best you're going to get from me, Jeff. Sorry.
All right, we got one more. This is a 3-parter from Rob the Yellow Dart Jones from Ontario is how it's signed.
Ooh, Canada.
I don't know what Yellow Dart means.
I don't know what that means either, but Ontario is Canada.
Is that a car?
I don't know.
Rob writes in and says, "Hi, I listen to your podcast. I have some questions. You answer, please. Either one of you or all of you. You ready, Matt? How do you mean to? I'm going to read it. We'll answer it, and then we'll keep going. Sound good?
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I'm looking up Yellow Dart Ontario, and nothing came up.
I'm going to read it. We'll answer the first one. Then does that make sense?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Number 1, new Pokemon game. Are you pumped or pissed? I personally think the new game looks like a squandered opportunity to take advantage of the series' first ever home console debut. It looks like absolute ass. The regression of random encounters is lame, even though Let's Go finally got rid of it, and it looks to be more of the same dumb stuff we've already played 10,000 times. Willing to be persuaded otherwise on this.
I'm not the Pokemon guy, Never have been. This did nothing to stick out as be like, this is the must-play Pokemon game.
Yeah.
I think I still stand by the fact that the only really Pokemon game, like from the core versions, the only one I've ever played is Blue.
Yeah.
So, and this one's doing nothing to bring me back in. Having a giant Pikachu or Raichu on the screen when the first debut did absolutely nothing for me, and if anything, it took me away. And everything I've seen since then, it looks more of the same. I think for me personally, a Let's Go is more of a Pokemon game I want now, because I don't want to grind in a Pokemon game. I just kind of want to collect and battle.
Yeah.
And kind of go from there. I don't want like another core, like not in that traditional sense. But like I understand that for those that still want it, it's just not for me anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I'm pumped nor pissed. This is definitely one I'm not eager to play. Like with Pokemon, I had a very on-off relationship with, where I'm on a couple games, I'm off a couple games. Blue and Gold, hell yeah. When we got to Alpha Sapphire, I was out. Not Alpha Sapphire, Sapphire and Ruby, out. When we and I was out for. I came back for Diamond Pearl, and then was out for the whole Black White 2, or Black 2 White 2. Came back for X because they brought back the starters, and that was X for me. X and Y were the first ones that kind of made a transitional jump that made sense physically, like it looked cool. This one looks like a higher res version of Sun and Moon, which the reason I'm not pissed is because this is exactly what I expected they would do. It would be a little bit higher res version of the last game with not much more. Like, hey, I can wear outerwear now. That's cool, but it's just not. I don't like the region in this game. Not a big. That backdrop does nothing for me. They've yet to show Ghost Eevee, which is pissing me the fuck off. So that's really that. Maybe I'm pissed about that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm all in the less Ghost bullshit that's out there. Although I would take a Ghost Eevee, but like, what did they show? Ghost Teapot the last?
I don't like that. It's dumb.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's dumb. Not the goddamn Ghost Chandelier. But
Hell no, Chandelure for the win.
The Ghost Teapot's cool. All right,
yeah,
great.
Teapot's where I draw the line, Matt.
Oh, okay.
You keep your ghosts in the sky, not on the table. That's what I always say. Yeah, this one just looks boring.
I mean, but like this is still going to sell units. Like it's crazy. Yeah. Like I talked to Victoria, and she's saving money to buy a Switch for Pokemon.
Yeah,
and
no, and
like,
people will.
All right,
yeah.
do you, honey? Like you. All right, that's all you. Will you play that Pokemon game?
I was excited about the idea of putting it on a screen, but the one thing here pointed out is like. Looks like a squandered opportunity to take advantage of the series' first home console debut. And there's an asterisk here that, yes, there were Pokemon games on consoles, but they weren't true blue Pokemon games. Which, yeah, you're right. There hasn't been like the traditional RPG on a console. And
if anything, they were weird. Like it's extensions of the actual Game Boy game, like Stadium.
Stadium and stuff like that. Yeah. And they've always had the weird knockoff shit too.
And
like Pokemon Rumble. Pokemon's pretty cool though.
Is it though?
No. Yeah, like. I think we were a little bit spoiled, like living in the era that we live in, where anyone with a little bit of talent and Unreal Engine 4 can put together something that looks badass. Because there was an Unreal Engine 4 demo of Pokemon that was like, oh, that's they should do that. And I think seeing the departure that stuff like Breath of the Wild had from the Zelda series, you start to build in your head a little bit of what this could have been, which makes this game seem even less stellar than it is. But I think this game will end up being fine. I'm not.
Oh, it'll be fine. And it's going to do what it needs to do. It's going to be another core Pokemon. It's going to unveil new starters that are going to be merchandise to death, whether it's like plushies and stickers and
but
all
I think
that stuff.
I think that's what Rob's point is here is that it is just exactly the same. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
The new thing is, like you said, the Dynamax Pokemon, which is
that drives me away.
Yeah, exactly. That does not seem fun to me. Like the Mega Evolutions was something I thought was stupid, but when you played with them, it was like, oh, this is cool. Like it was totally cashing in on Gen 1 nostalgia at the time it came out, but it was like still kind of cool what you were doing. It was like, I don't know, a fucking blue and black Charizard. That's pretty badass. A Blastoise with an extra pump. That's pretty badass. Now it's just
3 hydro pumps.
Yeah, now it's a big old Raichu who's kind of pink. Like, yeah. Number 2, if you had to speed run one game and be reasonably confident that you could beat everyone else, what would it be? Sneak King. Speed run Sneak King.
I mean, if you just complete the game, I think you have a chance of winning.
All right, so this question, all right, speed run. If I had to speed run one game, my answer for that is different than be reasonably confident that you could beat everyone else.
Super Mario World is my the first comma.
Yeah, the
part
first.
of it.
Yeah, the which game, like Symphony of the Night. Oh man, I did that recently. Just like jumped in, see how far I could get quickly. Like got through the first castle in 4 hours, which is not any, like there's people who beat the game in 17 minutes. I'm not getting that at all, but I can get through that game pretty quickly just from muscle memory and a little bit of like, oh, where do I go? Oh, right, I gotta get the thing. So it'd have to be something like that. Honestly, the original Castlevania, when that collection came out on Switch, I played that original one pretty good. I mean, I was beefing it with some save states that time around, but if I practiced enough, I could do all right in that game. It's all just about memorization at that point. Like, you need something like that where everything is always going to be in its place. There's not a lot of random elements outside of something like a Medusa head or something, but maybe Castlevania.
That's tough because it's tough for me to think of like speedrunning, like a game that I want to play. Like, I think there's very few games that I want to like, that I will want to speedrun in that regard. Like Super Mario World, I think I can pull a respectable time as well. Right, yeah. But whenever I like play a game, like my first thought is like, who can I beat in this game? Like Tennis Aces last year.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, dude, who the fuck could I beat in this game? And then when I got to the people I can't beat, I got fucking pissed. Yeah. And I threw my Wii
Joy-Con.
Yeah, Joy-Con, Switch, the console itself. I just threw a lot of stuff around my room. Just getting so pissed off.
Keep the Wii U around just to beat the shit out of it a little bit.
I
when you
should
lose.
just do that as like a catharsis thing. But a game that I think I could be competent at. You know what? That's weird, but I kind of looked over there at the right time. That game has a history with me. WWF No Mercy.
How do you speedrun that?
You can speedrun it. There's speedruns out there.
Oh my god.
You have to play as Perry Saturn because he has a weird kind of like underlay kick that you can keep. You can kind of spam and your opponent won't recover in time. And then if you get them outside for a 10 count,
okay,
you can advance the story in a way. And if you do it specifically, it's fucking crazy.
Sure.
They're out there, dude.
I believe it. I've watched them. I watched a speedrun of Sneak King. People will fucking speedrun anything.
Mirror's Edge is another cool game to watch speedrun.
Glitchless
or not glitchless. Yeah. Just the ones with some pace to them.
Yeah,
they're always the fun. Like the Doom one, right?
Yeah. The things that I wouldn't want to do though is that like I wouldn't have to do the ones where I'm like glitch or like sequence breaking or like those things that are like very time specific. Like the ones I need something with a little more predictability rather than like, well, if I do this at this exact frame, like that shit, I don't have the brain for it or the muscle memory or the dedication to learn any of it. But
I think it's a dedicated, like you can learn it, right? Like people say it's frame specific, but like frame specific. Like, come on,
it's a lot of it, Matt.
There's like 3 frames probably in there. Like, there's a room for error.
There's
not frame specific.
Every dude, as someone who has a spreadsheet of every GDQ performance.
Dude, I think Carcinogen is lying when he says you got a frame perfect, dodge a zombie. You know.
I've got a little checklist of all the ones that I've watched and the ones I've yet to. I've watched a lot of those speedruns at this point. And the part where someone does something and you're like, whoa, that was cool. And then someone on the couch goes, so that might have looked like it was nothing, but let's explain what he actually did. There was a millisecond that he had to have hit the A button.
Millisecond, not a frame. Room for error.
You know what I'm...
Room for error. I mean... Many speedrunners say there's a glitchless run, and it's a glitch run, so...
Well, yeah. Neither here nor there. All right, our last question here from Rob. Anime waifu visual novel games, see Pantsu Hunter. A blight on the industry or some much-needed levity?
Anime waifu games.
Anime waifu visual novel games.
Sorry, visual novel games.
I don't think they're a blight on the industry. I think that games are games, and I think that a game can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Look, when you have a goddamn pigeon dating simulator out there, like, who the fuck cares? Just make whatever you want to make, as long as it's not like racist or sexist or anything like that. Like, do whatever you want to do.
I think the only danger in something like this comes from the person creating it. Like, sometimes some of these games can be very narrow-minded, and I think that the way that they paint social interactions can start to rub off on people the wrong way.
Correct.
And give people the wrong way of thinking about how life is. So I think there's a danger there, but I don't think that you can blanket statement say this shit sucks. Get it out. Like, everything has a place. When I was fucking 13, I was hanging on Newgrounds playing stupid Bubble Bobble clones that showed you half of a boob.
Yeah, dude, I got shit on my Steam thanks to Ben that does that.
Yeah, we got some bad. But yeah, like, I think that any way that someone chooses to spend their time with a game is...
Or money.
Right? Like...
we sat here and made fun of that game house party or whatever, but...
People get
whatever.
something out of it, right? And like, and a visual novel game, like, I don't think I've played an anime waifu visual novel, like Pantsu Hunter, as written here. I don't know anything about Pantsu. Maybe this is one that's particularly nefarious. But, those things can have merit as well. Like, there's something about the gameplay there that might, I don't know, tell you a cool story, teach you about a culture you didn't otherwise know, or, you know what I mean? Like, or it could just be fucking porno. What'd you find?
I'm kind of scared to click on some of this. I'm going to go there. Hunterpedia, the fandom. Oh, God. Well, I'm going to get hit with an ad, first of all, and then...
I could see just from some of those screenshots, this looks like it's probably pretty...
It's like, got the little 246 in the corner of her sweater there, like a Dragon Ball character almost.
I've got it here on Steam.
There we go.
Pantsu Hunter back.
Wait, Zoe Deschanel's sponsoring Crocs? What the fuck?
Welcome to 2019, dude.
All right. Anyway.
This one says, share a heart-to-heart talk, watch a movie together, take a bath, remove a computer virus, help a girl in a tough spot, and if you're lucky, find the love of your life using the color and pattern of her panties. Oh, okay. It's an adventure game with point-and-click elements that tells a story about a guy looking for love, renovated in a nostalgic 80s and 90s anime style. This one does call out the fact that you can collect 18 different panties for your collection, and there's 8 erotic pictures with hot girls. Our game is supposed to give you this wonderful feeling of pure and undisturbed romance and to dip you into this beautiful nostalgic era.
Look, I know Steam's kind of like a open world out there, but Sony published, or not published, but like they put out on their store a game on the Vita where you rub off some girl's clothes. So where do you draw the line at? I just think, look, there's obviously an audience out there for it. Why not have someone make a buck off it? As long as it's like I said, as long as it's not like sexist or racist or anything like that.
For some people, right? Like some of this stuff where it's simulating conversations and stuff. Like there are people who don't know how to talk to people. Generally, playing the kind words earlier, right? Like there was someone who talked about not being great at social interactions. I won't detail the whole thing specifically, right? But like someone who just talked about not knowing how to open up in social situations at all and having trouble with that. And it's like, this is something like that can teach you dialogue with people.
Yeah. I mean, as someone that was homeschooled through elementary school, like, I kind of can get that, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, granted, I played a lot of sports, so like I wasn't like the most like
you were completely walled off. From society.
I wasn't like the goddamn bubble boy, but I can get it. Like you're not there all day with your, with other students, interacting or whatever. You're just kind of at home with a parent, eating cereal while she's reading history to you or whatever.
Right. So it's.
I think there's a place. I think there's a place for it as long as it's rightfully tasteful. Yeah.
And I think you have to kind of know what you're getting into. You can't sit down and go, well, this is how all interactions are going to work, because they're not.
What do you mean? You want me to take off my top.
Right. Like that's, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And I think people should know that part. But yeah. So yeah, thank you, Rob, thank you, Jeff, for both of your emails. If you want to send in a question to ask us or a multi-part question, I like the multi-part question.
Oh,
that keeps us boom, boom, boom. Makes me snap good too. I don't normally snap too good, but that's some
I
good
don't
snap.
snap too good.
Nah. Podcast at thefreecheese.com is where you can go to send those emails, and we'll read them on here. Mark should be back next week. I'll be here next week. Matt will be here next week. We will all be here next week with more of this podcast. I might dip into Control this week. Maybe this is the time.
I don't know. I'm going to finish out a week. Oh, actually, take that back. I don't know what my week looks like this week. So we'll see. I'm going to try to finish Alan Wake, I think, this week. I'm going to try to get a level 25 Overwatch.
Yeah. You're close. You're like 22 right now.
Yeah. If I get that win a night, I feel like I get halfway there off of that. So after I beat Alan Wake, I think I'm going to move on to my Switch and play either Link's Awakening or Fire Emblem. I just don't know which one yet.
Yeah.
It's game of the year time for me. Like, my summer vacation's over. I'm back to business.
I almost bought Resident Evil 2 on Steam because it was on sale, but I
did buy the BioShock collection. I'll get to it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I was like, we've probably got a fall sale coming up pretty close here, so it'll probably be a little bit cheaper if I'm really itching, but also if I'm going to spend money, I'm going to spend it on something I don't already have access to because I've already got Resident Evil 2 from you, so... well, that is it. You can follow us on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. Matt is at MattyIce131. I am at The Free Cheese. Although, I'll tell you, Matt, I've been toning down on the Twitter lately. I got a little...
You TikToking?
No, I just, every time, look, something like Kind Words was really nice because it was a nice positive community where every time I open Twitter, it seems like you open it and there's just yelling. So I put the little...
You open up a text message from me. That's what...
You're tame compared to some of the shit I see. No, I use the fucking screen time setting in iOS settings and put 10 minutes a day on Twitter. It's been great because it pops up and it goes, yo, you got 5 minutes left. And I'm like, I don't need this shit.
Oh, that's bold.
And I close it and I move on with my life.
That is bold. Hell on Earth.
That was my next, FCW Hell on Earth. That's right. Free Cheese Wrestling returns with its monthly pay-per-view. Wild show this month. Shit's changing.
For the better, maybe?
I hope so. Casting away all that darkness. If you missed the premiere on Friday the 13th, you can catch it now on YouTube all month long. You have all this opportunity to get caught up before we got 2 shows left?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if we talked about the plan for the season, but yeah, we have two more shows left, and then the FCW is going to go on a hiatus. So yeah, 2 shows left. Where this is what they call the go home show.
Ooh,
for a Raw or SmackDown before a pay-per-view. So this is the FCW go home show coming up in October. I don't know what's going to happen.
Time will tell. But you should catch up now with Hell on Earth. Shao Kahn putting the show together.
Yes. Ooh, shit.
It was a good one. I like it.
Yeah, we did something new this time around, too. So
yeah, check it out. It's also a good spot to jump in just with the storyline. If you haven't been following all along, you can kind of jump in here, get caught up, and...
Yeah, we slightly recap everything, too.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So, yeah.
That is, of course, on YouTube or over at thefreecheese.com. That is going to do it. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. And we'll see you next week.